Nadine's Hash House, offering home-style cooked meals the way your mother made them. Try the savory Southside Slinger, the cinnamon streusel pancakes, or Nadine's famous hash. Make sure to follow Nadine's Hash House on Facebook for weekly specials. Open today from 7 till 1:30 in Soulard on Broadway. Nadine's Hash House. You can't get food like this in Paris. Nadine'sHashHouse.com.
Tony Colombo here, reminding you to visit my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton before your next trip into the great outdoors. For decades, Bluff City Outdoors has covered all the needs for area fishermen, and they'll always have all the best bait, tackle, and gear for your next trip on the water. And now they cover all your bow hunting needs, including their state-of-the-art indoor archery range and techno hunt system, open every day for you to come shoot, or you can join a league. Follow Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook and learn more at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
"Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL."
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Kennedy.
I'm Sean Duffy, and this is the Fox News Rundown.
Thursday, December 19th, 2024. I'm Jessica Rosenthal. A new Pentagon report on China is out. The country's greatly expanding its nuclear forces while also dealing with a lot of corruption. But what are we doing to address the CCP's strengths and vulnerabilities?
They have a world-class military capable of projecting power, not just in the region, but all around the world. Who's their natural enemy that they're so fearful of that they're building up?
I'm Chris Foster. Millions of Americans will be making more money in a couple of weeks with higher minimum wage laws kicking in January 1st.
Part of it has to be what it is you do. And the way you help people get to a livable wage ultimately is not by trying to raise the minimum of what they do now. It's trying to raise their opportunities in the economy and their skill levels so that they become more productive and they can earn that livable wage.
We're talking to Fox Business Big Money Show co-host Brian Brenberg.
And I'm David Marcus. I've got the final word on the Fox News Rundown.
A new report out of the Pentagon on China finds the country's building up its military and nuclear capabilities with 600 nuclear missiles now active, with likely over 1,000 by the year 2030. But the report also finds China's military has a corruption problem and that could get in the way of taking Taiwan by the year 2027, the stated goal of China's President Xi Jinping. Still, there's been worry among Pentagon officials and others that we are falling behind China, especially in some instances, like when it comes to air missile maritime capabilities.
We are losing pace.
Admiral Samuel Paparo told the Reagan National Defense Forum last week that we've made some great gains. He mentioned the new well-funded Defense Innovation Unit, the Joint Fires Network, which is a new battle management system that connects our military branches, our alliances and partnerships with Australia, the UK, Japan, and South Korea. But he said the military still needs a lot of work. For example, more consistent budgeting.
Becoming more agile in our acquisition, thinking differently about the weapon systems themselves is a part of it. Embracing the 21st century and 21st century tools is a part of it.
And while Paparo said the margin between China's military and our military dominance is shrinking, Marine Commandant General Eric Smith reminded the forum,
the advantage lies with us because our last combat was captured on somebody's iPhone 14. The Chinese's last combat was captured on oil and canvas. And they should not forget that. It is easy to bluster.
Last week, before this Pentagon report came out, Taiwanese officials said they were caught off guard by unannounced Chinese military drills in which more than 90 ships conducted exercises off their coast.
I've always raised concerns about our trading policy, especially after Tiananmen Square, that it needed to be linked with human rights.
New Jersey Republican Congressman Chris Smith is the chair of the Congressional Executive Commission on China.
When Bill Clinton de-linked human rights from trade, that opened up Pandora's box in terms of their ability to get whatever they want, because there's almost no prohibitions on capabilities. That includes technological capabilities. Then they just steal some of it, particularly in the nuclear area. But we have aided and abetted, as a country, the dictatorship of China. And now we're surprised that they have a world-class military capable of projecting power, not just in the region, but all around the world. And that is who's their natural enemy that they're so fearful of that they're building up, whether it be their ships, their aircraft, and their aircraft look a lot like ours. The nuclear, of course, the one that you just mentioned, going up to another 1,000 nuclear weapons by 2030. I even give a floor speech and pointed out that some of the experts suggested that if they wanted to, they could have had a nuclear device that would have put into effect an what's it called, the EMP. And we would have had a situation where we would have been blinded further in much of the area where this would have happened. So it's the naivete is breathtaking, numbing. I've been raising it since, like I said, the 1980s, but in earnest since the Tiananmen Square massacre.
This report also notes, as you know, Congressman, that the Chinese government has some weaknesses, namely corruption. But also, I wanted to get your take on this. I'm hearing this not talked about as much. Their heavy reliance on imported food and oil. I know we're aware of those weaknesses. Do you feel like we're taking advantage of them, that we're handling those weaknesses?
That's a great question. And on the oil, had the Biden administration faithfully enforced the Iranian oil from flowing there, that would have limited to some extent their ability to grow. And, we got the situation with Iran. We've got very strong sanctions, and they're being implemented very poorly. And, and the gaps are huge. And Iran is selling them huge amounts of oil. And Iran then benefits, as we all know, with all that hard currency that's used for terrorism and for procurement of weapons and for waging war against Israel. So it's and other places. So it's really why don't we just stick to our guns and say, Iran, you can't do this. And that is one of their major sources of oil in the world.
Right. Tell me, you're in New Jersey. Let's talk about. I want your thought on drones. Just on the front of being in New Jersey and witnessing sort of what you've been witnessing. It feels like we're being told by the federal government this is largely a non-story, that these are for the most part drones operating lawfully, or in some cases we're just mistaking them for aircraft. What is your belief right now?
Well, I think this is a Potemkin village type of argument that the administration is making. It's very, very non-transparent. For example, and I know for a fact, I talked to one of the top Coast Guard people from Barnegat Light. He's the commanding officer. He's it. And one of his 47-foot rescue boats had a large number of these drones, 12 to 30, he said, following his boat. He wasn't on the boat, but the skipper, of course, and the crew certainly saw it, about 100 feet in the stern, in the back. And there they are following. Now, what did Kirby say, Admiral Kirby? He suggested this was some, the forensic shows that this was really just, they just questioned it and poo-pooed it and said it doesn't exist. There was really flights going into JFK that we're talking about. This is 100 feet behind our boat. And I even asked the Coast Guard leader, what do you do, rules of engagement? We know when you're interdicting drugs, you have capabilities to do so, firearms and the like. What do you do with this? And he said, we need rules of engagement spelled out for us. I've also had a commander at Earl tell me something very similar, that there was a drone, 150 feet to 200 feet, and it was right there over a line that takes the munitions down to the pier. We've had other bases likewise that have been, and to just say these are hobbyists or some others, stop doing that. It's an insult to our intelligence. Bring one of them down, bag it. Why not? There's nobody in it. And we got to find out who they are, where they're coming from. And I even asked the Secretary of Homeland Security, Mayorkas, in a meeting we had online with other members of the New Jersey delegation, why don't we just follow one of them to find out where its origin is? Well, if we can't, because they're so good at evasive, it suggests that it could be a superpower, a nation state that's doing this, because that capability is very real. If it's stealth or something, some guy working out of his garage is not going to have that capability.
Wow. We're hearing also that 90% of the U.S. commercial drone market is held by one Chinese company, DJI Technology. And we know separately from the commercial space that our own military isn't on pace with drone production. Are you concerned about generally that we're relying on Chinese drones for whether it's corporate or hobbyist drones, but on the other end, when it comes to our military, that are we falling behind on drone production generally?
Oh, another big question. Yes, I think we are. I think there's been a lack of commitment when the FBI, and this isn't DOD, but the FBI said in a hearing, and I was at the hearing of the Homeland Security, chaired by Congressman Pfluger, they said they spent $500,000 on drone mitigation. It was like, wait, you mean million or something? 500,000, $500,000. What kind of program is that? Can't be very good. And the Chinese know, and warfare has been radically altered by drones as well as surveillance. Look what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in the Middle East. It's missiles and drones, more drones. Why aren't we up to date on that is bewildering.
I think a lot of us can tell the difference between like an airplane and something much lower level, to your point. This is kind of China related, but we just heard the Supreme Court will consider arguments over the TikTok law that's taking effect a day before President-elect Trump takes office. This is the bill that forces the Chinese-based company to divest from TikTok, or it will be banned in the U.S. What do you anticipate from this Supreme Court on that front?
Well, I'm hoping that they will take into account that when you have a brutal dictatorship under Xi Jinping, run by the Chinese Communist Party, and I don't care that some American somewhere puts his name on the letterhead that this is all being run by China, and you got a situation where they are mining information, they're gleaning all kinds of information about Americans. It is a very, very powerful venue for disinformation. And if the balloon ever goes up with a war, the capability to infect people with a lot of misinformation is very real. We already have that with the internet anyway, but to have it through a money raising or money generating group like TikTok is crazy on our part. And some of the stuff that goes on there, just from the morals point of view, is highly questionable, and they don't do the same thing in their own country, China, that is. So I hope the Supreme Court absolutely says, this law, which was passed, by the Congress, we ought to take this up. They ought to take it up and rule in our favor.
Before I let you go, let me ask you about something completely different. Your autism bill.
Yes.
I was reading through some of the language here. You note that you're getting new funding to address autism. That this bill provides a quote, a professional bypass budget to provide the autism community with a comprehensive budget highlighting priority research areas. What does that mean? And at the end of the day, are kids with autism what are they getting that they didn't get before if your bill were to become law?
Well, they will get enhanced services, and the idea of making sure that the money is there, available, and being used wisely is embedded in the bill. One of the things we did earlier on, because I've written 4 laws and 1 amendment that became law in the year 2000, but 4 laws since. We call them the Autism Cares laws, and each of them try to take it to the next level in terms of funding and mission. And what we did earlier on was to make sure that the IAC committee, Interagency Coordinating Committee, which has buy-in from people with autism, the advocates like Autism Speaks, and of course a lot of others professionally, who then have goals, and then they figure out what kind of research must be done that's not duplicative to reach those goals. So it's like the model of what NIA should be doing on a lot of other funding for disease and disability. But this one is it. And it's a very fine model. And we're striving to do early intervention. The average age of a child being diagnosed is still 4 years old. And we can do it now through modern techniques at 18 months. So the earlier the intervention, the better. We see whether it's folks on the spectrum or those that are profoundly autistic, which is about 27% or so of the number of autism in the United States. They need help as never before. It is getting worse. It's not just better reporting, and where environmental factors are contributing. There's all kinds of contributors, but early intervention is one of the best. It's very prevalent, and there's much more we can be doing. The breakthroughs will come.
All right. Congressman Smith, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you, Jessica.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and newstalkstl.com.
Hey guys, so you've heard me talking a lot about the KardioMobile EKG devices. So you know already they're the most advanced personal EKGs on the market. And now these amazing devices are at their lowest prices of the year, but only for a couple more weeks. I can't think of a better gift to give to a loved one. I mentioned that my dad has one. He loves it. Than the gift of managing their heart health. On the go, between doctor's visits, even while traveling. These things let you take a medical-grade EKG in just 30 seconds, right on your phone, and now you can get one, listen to this, for just $69. They can even detect AFib, which is a leading cause of stroke. I'm telling you, these prices are not going to last. $69 for the best-selling KardioMobile device. There's no better gift for yourself or a loved one. And at this price, there's no better time than right now. Go to Kardia.com, KARDIA.com, or Amazon, and order your KardioMobile today. Sponsored by AliveCor.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? The stress from excessive credit card debt can ruin your life. Collection calls, sleepless nights. If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, DebtBlue is here for you. DebtBlue uses secret programs that most credit card companies won't tell you about. They'll help you consolidate or settle your debts for a fraction of what you owe. With DebtBlue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved. There's no risk. The more you owe, the more DebtBlue can save you. See how easy it is to get started with free information. Let DebtBlue show you how 10 minutes could save you thousands. Call now. 800-200-6895. That's 800-200-6895.
I'm just living sky high right now. I'm very thankful for it. And the team at DebtBlue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
Danny Define here, host of the all-new show, The Next Gen, with me, Danny Define. We're going to cover all the hard-hitting topics on this show. National headlines and things happening right here in St. Louis.
Next Gen with Danny Define. Sunday nights at 8.
Right here on News Talk STL.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
The one and only Karen Catalina.
That's not always a bad thing, not to be a mensch.
Oh.
Sometimes you're a little bit of a rabble-rouser. It depends.
Yeah,
you are a mensch. You're a mensch, but, you know.
I think it could be
because he's a mensch.
Because I'm a mensch, okay?
You know, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. It depends.
All right.
So a mensch is a gentleman, to be a gentleman.
That's me, then. Come on.
Yeah, that's him, Karen.
Vic Porcelli, live and local, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
I've got a way for you to really dress up your home, and only one guy I'd trust to do it. Michael Proctor, like doctor. Michael will personally examine which drapes, blinds, or shutters will complement your home. He doesn't just measure, he designs, and to make sure it's done right, he will install them. All this saves you money on custom-made drapes, shades, and shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. ProctorDrapery.com.
Number one for live and local
conservative talk.
I'm very angry.
I've heard a lot of people talking about gun control. You have to wave a magic wand and get rid of the establishment. This maniac is going to inspire the next maniac.
News, analysis, opinion.
But my focus is kind of the mental health crisis. All stuff in the drain itself. I'm just sick of the protesting in general. And that's why it's so very important to be prepared.
101.9 and 94.1.
St. Louis is number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Who fight for freedom, and their defense attorney explains why he's optimistic he can clear their names.
Are these convicted killers monsters or just misunderstood?
Listen and follow starting January 7th at foxtruecrime.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. This is the Fox News Rundown. More up next.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com. Colombo and Company.
It's a busy week, but we've got you covered on Thursday. We'll get you up to speed on all the local issues with Mo Rep Justin Sparks at 2:20, plus Dr. Randy Tobler at 3:05.
Live and local, weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Hey, get ready to copy a number that could change the future of your company, connecting you to PRI Global and the world of artificial intelligence. Take a free survey, 636-689-0545, 689-0545. PRI Global has its own AI lab and can create the best way to help your business. 636-689-0545. 689-0545.
Hi, it's Chris Arps, and I've been a customer of Royal Banks of Missouri for many years. They are a full-service, locally owned and operated community bank with 17 locations throughout the St. Louis area, including locations in Hannibal, Jerseyville, Granite City, as well as 2 locations in St. Charles. Royal Banks offers Missouri a full range of financial services covering all of your personal and business banking needs, as well as access to over 200 ATM locations. Royal Banks of Missouri also offers convenient interactive teller machines that will connect you with a banker virtually and in real time, available at all their branch locations, and those are open weekdays from 8 to 7 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Plus, given today's headlines in the overall banking industry, it is reassuring to know Royal Banks Missouri has the highest financial ratings in St. Louis for stability and strength. That's Royal Banks Missouri, the community bank for your community. Visit them on the web at royalbanksofmo.com.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros, your all-in-one gutter service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. We discovered Gutter Pros a few years ago when we bought our home and inherited a gutter issue that was on the road to becoming a potentially big problem, but thanks to Gutter Pros was stopped before causing any major damage. They've also repaired the siding on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros are also the best for siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros can help your home at gutterpros.com.
The O'Reilly Update, brought to you by Seavers JCB. Visit them at their St. Peter's location.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, if you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, listen up. Car Shield is a low-cost monthly vehicle protection plan now available to you. This protection plan is at an all-time low price. Please call 800-925-7584 for a free quote. Drivers who activate today will also receive free roadside assistance and towing at no additional cost. That is 800-925-7584 right now. On this Thursday, Donald Trump could be at the highest point of his life, just 7 months after the lowest point. As Frank Sinatra once sang, that's life and I can't deny it. The Trump haters thought they had him beaten. The ridiculous show trials in New York City, the totally unnecessary FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago, the nonstop hatred Donald Trump endured from the liberal press. However, the Don fought hard and prevailed, not only routing Kamala Harris, but also badly damaging the Democratic Party and much of the corrupt media. It's an amazing turn of events orchestrated by one single human being, Donald Trump, who now officially owns the cliche, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. But the story is not over yet. The president-elect must succeed in solving very difficult problems. He has to show strength and determination to improve America's circumstance. After all that Trump has been through, however, he has a unique vantage point on the strength and determination thing. Now, he must turn his personal victories into legacies for the USA. I think he's going to do it. Back after this. Are you feeling the impact of the recent changes in the timeshare industry? My friends at Lone Star Transfer are the only company I trust to help you. For more than a decade, they have successfully helped over 20,000 owners get out of their timeshare with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. Customer service is their priority. For a free consultation and a guaranteed solution, 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We've got a colder night than we're used to this week, but it's actually just near normal. Low down to 29 degrees tonight. Normal's 28. Temperatures rebound partly to mostly sunny skies and a high of 49. A dry Thursday. Friday also dry. Cold start at 29 and a cold afternoon. It just doesn't warm up much. A high of 35 Friday afternoon. Wind chill will be in the 20s. So breezy, partly to mostly cloudy, dry and cold for our Friday. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Staff Sergeant Mark Anthony Madrid.
Staff Sergeant Samantha Cowell.
I'm Staff Sergeant Alex
Staff Sergeant William Lewis, and I am proud to defend my family and our nation.
The Air Force Reserve is part of the story of this great nation.
I'm grateful that I have a chance to wear the uniform of the heroes that went before me.
I'm proud to be part of a team that helps make a difference in the world.
Every day, men and women from communities across this nation serve as reserve citizen airmen. Even as technology evolves and changes, our commitment to defend and protect this nation remains steadfast. We celebrate those who have served and those who are proudly serving. We celebrate our proud history and look towards an exciting and uniting future. Our mission is to fly, fight, and win in air, space, and cyberspace.
And I am proud to be a member. And I'm proud to serve in the United States.
And I am proud to protect our country.
Proud to serve in the U.S. Air Force Reserve.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the News Talk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Just the convenience on the phone.
Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the News Talk STL app.
And listen anytime,
everywhere.
Anywhere. For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com. Let's get the day started right. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Okay, we've heard the phrase, and it's become kind of cliche lately, go woke, go broke. But there are some companies that are just way too big for that, right? I mean, they can do whatever they want. They can be as left-wing, they can be as woke, they can be as perverted as they want. They're just too big. Not even the market's going to bring them back to common sense. Well, we used to think that with Disney, but it looks like even Disney now is getting the message, and they are at least pulling back from some of the extremist, perverted crap that they've been wanting to put in their storylines. I find this really interesting. We're going to talk about this just ahead. Hey, good morning. Mike Ferguson here. Thanks for making News Talk STL part of this Thursday morning, like I appreciate that every day. Soon-to-be Congressman Bob Onder has a big task in front of him as he heads to Washington here in just another week and a half or so. And he was on with us yesterday, giving us a preview of what he expects to deal with, how Republicans should be leading, and how his committee assignments in particular will allow him to sort of amplify our conservative voices. A lot of good material here. Here's what Bob had to say.
I got to tell you, you got your first committee assignments
those are pretty good assignments right here. Kind of give me an overview of how you want to use those to kind of get that on your agenda, move forward in Congress. And then I want to get into the spending mess that you're about to inherit, regardless of what they do here by the end of the week.
Yeah, good morning. It's great to be back. Yes, my committee assignments were announced, I believe, yesterday or the day before, I guess Monday. And I will be serving on the House Judiciary Committee with a lot of great folks like Jim Jordan and Chip Roy. I'll be serving on the Education and Workforce Committee with a lot of great people like my good friend Eric Burleson from Southwest Missouri. And these are really important committees that deal with some of the biggest challenges that face our country and that threaten our republic. The judiciary has jurisdiction over the administrative state, the deep state, the federal government surveillance of its own citizens, the weaponization of government against President Biden's political enemies, and most importantly, immigration, something I've been working on since I was in the Missouri House back in 2007. And then, of course, Education and Workforce has jurisdiction over elementary, secondary, and higher education. So issues like critical race theory and the gender indoctrination of our kids, protecting women's sports, fighting back against anti-Semitism on campus. These are all jurisdiction of committees that I will be serving on.
Good morning, Bob. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So you're as much of a fiscal hawk as the rest of us here in this room. Yeah. How do you plan on incorporating the recommendations from DOGE into your committee assignments?
I knew Gabe was going to do the DOGE question.
Yes. DOGE is my favorite committee.
Did you order the T-shirt yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
I'm waiting for the best version of the DOGE T-shirt, so then I can go full decked out.
Yeah, there you go, Bob.
Sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
I am a huge fan of DOGE. I think first and foremost, regarding the two committees I mentioned, we need to abolish the Department of Education.
Yeah.
And I am so sick of corporate America or government entities saying, okay, we're going to abolish this department, but we're going to reassign everyone to other departments. No one's going to lose their job. No, people need to lose their jobs. The bureaucratic burden, and apart from issues of indoctrination or ideology, apart from that, just the tremendous waste of money of sending our tax dollars supposedly for education to Washington, D.C. and have Washington send them back with not just strings attached, but shackles and handcuffs attached is ridiculous. The growth of administrators in our education system, K-12, has been like 95%, whereas our student population's only grown about 3%. Teachers have grown about 5%. So huge opportunities to save money and, better yet, eliminate entirely the U.S. Department of Education. But the burden of the administrative state and regulations is almost unmeasurable. I saw one study that estimated the burden of regulation to be $12,000 for every man, woman, and child in the United States per year. But it's probably more than that because it touches on everything we do, everything we spend our money on in our lives. So we need to implement a lot of DOGE regulations. The federal government is just bloated beyond control, and the continuing resolution yesterday, I don't believe was a step in the right direction.
We're visiting with Congressman-Elect Bob Onder. Okay, so along those lines here, you've got whatever the Department of Government Efficiency, whatever the commission is going to recommend. But I want to remind everybody that Congress has to pick and choose which recommendations that you are going to cut, and you've got to go through the process to actually cut this. A lot of great talk, a lot of Republicans and even a few Democrats saying, hey, this is a great opportunity. But how do you gauge among your colleagues in the next Congress, how do you gauge the backbone to stick to it and actually do it, especially when you've got the media saying people are going to die and people like, you're talking about cutting my job? And I loved your answer. Yes, absolutely. If you've got marketable skills, go apply them in the private sector. We need to grow that anyway in the economy.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. We have a labor shortage throughout our economy. You ask anyone, ask me as a medical doctor, it is very difficult to hire good people. And overall, there has been very little job growth in the Biden administration these last 4 years, except for one area. Government. So, right, we're not, it's sort of like taking a person off welfare. It's not that we want them to starve. It's that we want them to go out and get a productive job and make something out of their lives. And that's how I feel about a lot of these people who occupy worthless agencies like the Department of Education or the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. But yeah, you're right. There is the appetite to actually cut spending when it comes time to doing it and to face the political heat. That's not always there. It's easy to talk about in theory, but to say no is an entirely different thing. Look, I faced that in the Missouri legislature, where allegedly we had a supermajority of Republicans, but we didn't act like that those last few years that I was in the Missouri Senate. We just took all the federal money and we spent it all, and the bureaucrats were very happy. The blue cities like St. Louis and Kansas City were very happy with all the COVID stimulus money, but very little appetite among Republicans for fiscal restraint. But I think with the right leadership in Congress, and especially the right leadership in the White House, and with charismatic and incredible figures like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy leading the charge, I think we'll be able to make some progress there.
Bob, it seems like every 6 months or so we get another threat of a government shutdown, another continuing resolution, and we got another boondoggle of a continuing resolution on the chopping block right now, and it looks like it's going to pass as far as I can tell. But what are the chances we actually get a real budget for the first time in however many decades?
Well, over and over, we've heard promises that this will be the last CR. From now on, we'll go to regular order. But I do sense among my colleagues there is fatigue, or future colleagues fatigue, with this continuing resolution process, that we do need to get back to regular order of 12 budget bills where budgets are hashed out in committee, hashed out in the bright light of the public prior to them coming to the floor. I think Chip Roy, for instance, Ralph Norman, had to fight very hard for a promise that this CR would get 72 hours of public exposure before voting on it. Usually they don't even have that in Congress. So it is time to get back to the process that we go through in the Missouri General Assembly. The product hasn't always been so good, but of passing 12 individual budget bills instead of a last-minute CR or last-minute omnibus.
Yeah, Congressman Eric Burleson, you mentioned just a little bit earlier, he was interviewed at the Capitol. He was frustrated with this, and here's part of what he had to say.
Personally, I'm disappointed. I think that he can do better. He can communicate better. The fact that we haven't seen the language today and we're supposed to vote on it this week is unacceptable.
Now, he was referring to Speaker Mike Johnson and the fact that there's going to be a vote this week, and they did not actually have the resolution in front of them. And we know that's going to be huge. Is that something? And Mike Johnson's got obviously a very delicate balancing act to do with a very slim Republican majority. But this is a crucial foundational thing. And what I'm hearing you and other conservatives saying is we have to get to that foundational thing so we can have an open, transparent, trustworthy process when it comes to things like a budget.
That's right. If we went through the legally mandated constitutional order of passing individual budget bills, Eric would not have said what he said in that clip. We would have been looking at what was coming out of the various subcommittees of the Appropriation Committee for weeks and weeks, and we'd know exactly what's in the budget. Now that CR is out now. I saw about 8 o'clock last night. I did see it, but it's 1,547 pages. And, if you think about it, and I know a lot of this budget talk makes your listeners and my eyes glaze over. But if you think about it, what a CR is in theory, it would just continue spending at existing, I would add parenthetically, ridiculously high levels for another few months. That would probably only take maybe 10 pages of text. This bill is 1,547 pages long. So this is the frustration that we see with the way things go on in Washington. And clearly Eric has a front row seat, and he has that frustration. I share it as well.
Speaking of these 1,500-page bills and whatnot, who writes them? Because it's one thing to be able to read these things, but somebody had to take the time to actually write these bills. And I don't think it's the lawmakers who are presenting them.
Yeah, I think. I think ultimately it's a lot like who writes Supreme Court decisions. A lot of times it's staff and senior staff and clerks. But who has the power over what's in them? A lot of times it ends up being just senior leadership, and unfortunately, with negotiations between Republicans and Democrats. I mean, look, if we Republicans have the majority and we stick together and we stick to Republican and constitutional principles, we should be writing these bills. And who gives a hoot what Hakeem Jeffries thinks? And I hope when we go to do the reconciliation process, to do things like renew the Trump tax cuts and secure the border and enforce our law, I sure the heck hope that we do it as Republicans, not a consensus project with Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer.
All right, in just a little bit here, I want to get to this Disney thing. They are backing away from some of the more extreme perverted crap that they were wanting to put in their children's programming. That's good, but why did they think it belonged there in the first place? So we'll get to that just a little bit here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
The information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Katie here. When it comes to your home's comfort, you don't need gimmicks, you need guarantees. At Elite Comfort Experts, we're your hometown comfort heroes. No flashy deals, just reliable service you can count on every time. From tune-ups to total system replacements, we're here to keep your family comfortable year-round. No nonsense, just expert care, because your home deserves the best. Call Elite Comfort Experts today, where hometown service meets real results. Elite Comfort Experts, St. Charles' trusted hometown comfort heroes. Call Elite at 636-887-0971.
Hey, how you doing? Santa Vic here.
And Santa's head Vic head here.
And you can win some great prizes with News Talk STL's St. Louis Conservative Christmas.
You forgot the ho-ho-ho. You forgot the ho-ho-ho.
Oh!
No, ho-ho.
A St. Louis Conservative Christmas. Log on to newstalkstl.com for your chance to win. Brought to you by Woodson Stonefire, Tropical World Pets, El Morelia Supermercado, and Metro Shooting Supplies.
Oh!
Hi, I'm Jen Wallner.
And I'm Rodney Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Rodney, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission rate?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
When's the best time to sell your home?
Right now. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Hey, it's Vic. Are you worried about rising taxes? Well, you're not alone. With government spending outpacing revenue, many Americans fear a tax hike is on the horizon. But here's the good news. You have options. Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management specializes in tax-efficient strategies for income planning, legacy, and growth. Chris knows your money will go to one of three places: the government, healthcare, or your family and charities. Shouldn't your loved ones come first? Don't let Uncle Sam be your biggest beneficiary. Take control of your financial future today. Visit serenitynowtax.com for your free copy of Chris's book, the new holistic retirement. Serenity Wealth Management, because you deserve peace of mind in retirement. Request your free book today at serenitynowtax.com. That's serenitynowtax.com to get your free copy of the new holistic retirement. That's serenitynowtax.com. Serenity Now with Chris Cooper.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Hi, this is Mark McCloskey. Check out my show, Mark McCloskey on Fire, Sunday afternoon at 5 here on News Talk STL. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Guess what, guys?
What's that?
I might get my Christmas present.
Really?
I might get my government shut down for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true. Me too. Merry Christmas, everyone.
It could happen. It could happen.
Special wrapping and everything.
Oh, my goodness.
Peace on earth.
Get
Goodwill
that
to the done.
That's right. All right. Don't forget Newstalk STL's app. We're really, really, really hoping you download that. We've got some upgrades coming to it in 2025. A lot more features. Still going to be free, but you can take us anywhere. As a matter of fact, I had one of my baseball buddies last night at practice tell me he listens on, he's in 101.9 territory.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because another friend was telling me he's in 94.1 territory. And he said, yeah, but I work down in this area and it's just outside of our listing area. And I just told him, I said, man, download the app.
Yep.
Take us anywhere.
Just do the
it's
app.
Free because he's literally just like, he's not in the St. Louis region, but he's working just outside of it. So I'm like, take the app, man. Just do
Absolutely.
that. Okay. So apparently the continuing resolution apparently loaded with big, stupid spending right before Congress's Christmas break going down in flames.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Like massive flames.
Right. And
In a way we've never seen before. We've
Yes.
never seen something like this before.
So let me start with the apocalyptic stuff you're going to hear on the news.
Okay.
The deadline to keep the federal government open is tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Now we've
Sorry.
been here before. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah.
So we've been here before.
Mhm.
We've seen it. Don't get your hopes up too much. But now we're going to see the situation where everybody's like, the world's going to end.
Mm-hmm.
Where the world's not going to end. Where we're going to tune out of the federal government for Christmas anyway. So this is, obviously it doesn't matter to Joe Biden. He's a lame duck. He's out of office in a matter of weeks anyway. But Democrats are going to go try to pin it on Republicans, and Republicans were the ones that tanked the bill. And so what we need to do is overcome the media scourge and say, yeah, they should have, because you're getting examples all over the place of people who are digging through the bill. And don't just go to the social media influencer types, because they may or may not be right. Go to Nancy Mace, go to Thomas Massey, go to a variety of different lawmakers who are saying, we were digging through this 1,500 page thing that we just got and we're supposed to vote on within 48 hours. Hey, we found this. Hey, we found that. Dick Durbin, was asked, why is Congress getting a 40% raise? And he looked at the reporter and went, that's news to me. They're like, it's in the bill.
It's in there. Hey, looky there.
And then he goes, well, we haven't had a raise in a while.
Wow. It goes from 174,000 to 243,000. That's a pretty hefty
That's
little
a pretty
raise.
hefty. Well, the economy's
thousand.
The economy's doing so great, and workers all over are doing.
And we have to adjust for inflation.
Yeah. But you know who else this looks bad for?
Who?
This is a big hit to Mike Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Speaker of the House.
Oh, absolutely.
'Cause
Yes.
He
pushed this. He negotiated it. Right.
He basically had a political mutiny on the Republican side, and good. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Mike Johnson.
Sure.
Okay. But when you've got, I think Congress members like Eric Burleson from Missouri, laid it out very, very well. They're like, just no, because of this garbage spending. And I've got dueling sound bites in the news dump here in a little bit. So there's a good chance that some parts of the federal government are going to shut down, but then they're going to go reopen it later. And then they're going to like give all the workers back pay when they didn't work, and they may not have been going to work anyway, but there could be some chaos. And, I've already seen some media in the headlines actually say, Donald Trump causes government shutdown. I'm like, y'all know he's not president yet, right?
Well,
I'm like,
that was a nice press conference he had a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's like he's literally not the president right now.
Yeah,
just saying.
I think the problem is no one thinks that there is a president, so they're going to pick the guy who's talking the most.
That's probably true. That's a good way to put it. Were you talking about Trump or Elon Musk?
I mean, yeah. Well, there's also that aspect of it too, because basically what happened was that there was the CR bill came to light, and Doge spoke.
Yeah.
Elon, the people or the Congress said, "Hey, let's pass this bill," and Elon said, "No."
That's basically it. Yeah, that's basically it. And of course, there's some people now starting to say, and this was very, very predictable. People are starting to complain, like, wait a minute, Elon Musk has got way too much power, way too much influence. We have kind of appointed Elon Musk a temporary pseudo king.
Well, I think
a little bit.
I think it's more like Elon is kind of the voice of the rest of us in this weird time right now. And I think maybe what happened was the standard government procedure was going, and they just said, okay, business as usual. Let's negotiate. Let's do the thing. Get all your pork in. We're just going to pass this and move on, because the government has to keep running. Everybody was kind of working under the same assumptions. And Elon said, hey guys, by the way, all these people here, they said they don't like this bull crap. Yeah. Here, people, look at the bull crap. And the people, So Elon's like, see?
He's Festivus for the rest of us.
He's Festivus he's basically the speaker for all of the national grievances of America.
I would, so you could say the people speaker, but that title's already taken by Tim Jones.
That's true. That's true. That's
Elon can't have that.
That's a good point. Yes,
that's every day from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock here on News Talk STL.
There have been 10 government shutdowns in history. You know how many people have died from government shutdowns?
Ooh, how many?
0.
Oh yeah. So again, all I want for Christmas is my government shutdown. That's all I want.
Please, Santa.
Please.
Southern Armory, your hometown gun store. Come and be more than just a customer. Southern Armory, we carry the best guns, holsters, knives, magazines, ammunition, and even food storage. Special orders are welcome. Southern Armory, 1 mile east of 270 and 44, 9901 Watson Road, and southernarmory.com. That's southernarmory.com.
Whether you're purchasing your first firearm or adding to your collection at Southern Armory, you're more than a customer, you're part of the family. Follow Southern Armory on Facebook or at southernarmory.com.
Let Seavers JCB create a custom purchasing plan for your year-end equipment needs and maximize your tax savings. Whether you need 0% financing for up to 60 months, generous cash incentives up to $9,000, or extended warranties for up to 5 years, Seavers JCB can tailor a plan to fit your fleet needs and budget. Programs are available on a wide range of products, including track loaders, excavators, wheel loaders, and more. Call, stop by, or check them out online at SeaversJCB.com.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the Sabos radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio 3 times every week yet on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House. There is increased opposition to a government spending bill.
President Trump is opposing the 1,700-page pork-filled government funding bill that would prevent a government shutdown. Some members of Congress announced Tuesday a deal had been reached, but President Trump and J.D. Vance released a joint statement on Wednesday criticizing the bill that provides a pay raise for Congress, provisions to prohibit investigations into members of Congress, funding for bioweapons labs, and over $800,000 in funding for queer trans initiatives, among many other things. Their statement told Republicans to toughen up against Democrats and call their bluff. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy spent Wednesday posting various pages from the bill on X. Musk saying no spending bill should be passed until President Trump takes office. Tasha Stevens reporting.
The holidays are meant to be a time of celebration with family and friends, but they can also bring pressure to spend money on gifts and gatherings, among other things. The CEO and medical director of the American Psychiatric Association, Marketa Willis, suggests ways to release stress during the holidays.
I will do babysitting for you. I will cook a meal for you. Those kinds of things take that financial pressure off and make for a more joyous holiday season.
Credit card debt is rising and prices for many items are still high due to inflation. The suspect charged with shooting to death a health insurance company executive on a Manhattan street is being taken to hearings on related Pennsylvania criminal charges and efforts to extradite him to New York. Luigi Mangione faces a preliminary hearing on forgery and firearms charges and consideration of a fugitive from justice complaint. On Wall Street, Dow futures are ahead 181 points. NASDAQ futures are up 79.5. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Right now, with an important alert, home title fraud is one of the fastest growing white-collar crimes in the country. Criminals can make millions on your house without you even knowing it. Michael, you were one of those criminals?
Yeah, that's right. I was responsible for about $16 million in equity theft and title fraud.
Wow.
And to be honest, it was easy to do. It's just paperwork. So by the time you find out what's happening, the equity in your home is already gone.
So how do you keep your property and equity safe? For more, here's Action News reporter Ron Stevens.
Well, Monica, an in-depth investigation found there's actually just one company that prevents this type of crime from happening: Equity Protect. Equity Protect scans, monitors, alerts, and most importantly, protects you from any attempts to tamper with or steal your home equity and ownership 24 hours a day. Other companies merely monitor. Equity Protect stops the crime from happening. Find out if you're already a victim or take a free risk assessment today at equityprotect.com. That's equityprotect.com.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After a chilly start, we've got a decent warm-up for you today, up to 49 degrees this afternoon, under mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. But tonight, a cold front swings through, brings a shot of colder air along with it. 28 for the low Friday morning, but only climbing to 35 tomorrow afternoon. And with a stiff northwest wind chills in the teens tomorrow morning and 20s tomorrow afternoon. We'll keep it dry, though, all the way through the weekend. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, firearms enthusiast, looking for a family and veteran-owned shop with a wide selection of products and services? Head to DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green. DG Firearms has been your one-stop shop for custom ARs, Cerakoting, laser engraving, gunsmithing, suppressors, ammo, and reloading supplies. DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green, and online at dgfirearmsllc.com.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic rights and duty. The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion. Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me?
Get up! Get up! In case you hear the alarm. Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Good morning to the people of St. Louis.
All right, like we just said, it looks like I might get my government. I guess I should say it looks like we might get our government shut down for Christmas after all, Gabe.
Yes.
Were you wishing for that too, still?
Oh, indeed.
Okay.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
this entire room is included.
Oh, yeah. And as Gabe said earlier, we've gone through this before.
Mhm.
Nobody died.
No.
You know, there was nothing serious that happened, but it could be a fun little ride for a few days.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was most consequential for government workers, and that's pretty much it.
And I don't care about most of them.
Exactly. Most of them are redundant and useless anyway.
Well, it turns out that right now we're finding out that most of them aren't even showing to work.
No,
1% showing up live in the office. My gosh, that's crazy.
This is literally, a welfare program, by another name. I mean, this.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, as a matter of fact, there are some cities where the primary employer is the federal government.
Yes, I've seen this.
And literally you hear people say, well, what's going to happen to our economy? Well, build a free market economy.
Do something usefeful.
Yeah. instead of, sucking off the teat of government and making the rest of us pay.
Yeah.
That's, oh, geez. All right. Also, who asked a St. Louis County prosecuting attorney to find dirt on a Republican candidate? This is kind of a bombshell thing that came out this week in some of the discussions about the county prosecutor's position. And a little bit later on today, even Disney backing away from the woke perverted nonsense, at least just a little bit.
Yeah,
at least a little bit. All right, it's 6:07. Let's go to the news dump here.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
All right, now there's talk underway of trying to get a thinned down, cleaner, continuing resolution to fund the government, the federal government. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, you know what he says? He says Republicans are going to pay for this. Oh, got it? Am I up?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
House Republicans will now own any harm that is visited upon the American people that results from a government shutdown or worse.
Can I just go ahead and point out here before I get to my next soundbite that, okay, somebody show me the harm to the American people that's going to happen.
Seriously. Yes, exactly.
Please do that.
I remember the Obama administration. I'm going to bring this up every time because I think it's very indicative of the way they operate. I remember the Obama administration going out of their way to try and make us feel the effects of a government shutdown by initiating deliberate efforts to prevent us from accessing free things.
Right.
It's like,
the national park is closed today.
Exactly. They brought out concrete barriers to block a public road into public land, just so they could say, well, since people are furloughed, you can't access the woods.
All right, you're going to be surprised to hear this. Senator Josh Hawley was on Hannity last night on Fox.
What?
No, he was. Can you? Wow, how did he score that gig? But he has a different take on the bill that fell through than Hakeem Jeffries.
It is a total travesty. This has got to change, Sean. I mean, we cannot go on like this. And I hope that Republican leadership gets the message here, the message of this election, which is that people want change. They don't want this garbage.
So apparently by Saturday, parts of the federal government will shut down if there's not another. Again, bring it on. Do it.
Oh, yeah.
You say there's going to be a massive calamity. Prove it. All right. Okay, we're going to get into this a little bit later on today here. A St. Louis County judge now will decide whether Governor Mike Parson or County Executive Sam Page, along with County Council, will be the ones to select the new county prosecutor. So arguments were heard in court on Wednesday. The governor says he's appointing Melissa Price Smith, who is a prosecutor in the office now and has been for like 20 years, to that role when Wesley Bell is sworn into Congress. Sam Page was going to appoint Court Van Ostren, but the county council has already said they will not confirm him, even if the judge rules in Sam Page's favor. So if the judge rules in Sam Page's favor, says, yes, you get to appoint, the county council gets to confirm per the county charter, it's going to have to be somebody other than Court Van Ostren, because the county council has already said, no, we're not doing it.
Okay.
At least 5 of the county council have already put a vote on record saying, no, not him. So Sam Page would have to start from scratch if he gets to do that. Some people in the courtroom yesterday kind of felt like the judge was favoring the governor in this, which would surprise me a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. Now, speaking of Melissa Smith, while being questioned by the county council this week, and by the way, if the judge rules for the governor and rules for the state, the county council has no say in this.
Right.
She will be the appointed prosecutor by the governor. But while she was being questioned by the council this week, she made a surprising statement saying that she was told to use her position in the prosecutor's office to target a Republican candidate for county council. Here's part of that back and forth.
I received a phone call from someone on behalf of Dr. Page asking me to find dirt on Mike Archer,
Mike Archer.
the new council member
Okay.
who will take his seat in January. I informed the caller that I had never worked with Mike Archer because he had worked in the prosecutor's office. I told them I had no dirt on Mike Archer, and that it was my understanding that he quit years before I began. I received a call 2 days later from the same person on behalf of Dr. Page instructing me to try harder. And we never spoke again.
Now, these are phone calls going to her office in the county prosecutor's office saying, find dirt on this Republican candidate for county council. And as she mentioned, Mike Archer won. I actually just talked to Mike last week. Last week. I just talked to Mike last week. And so she says she refused to do it. Sam Page, the only statement they put out is they're saying, well, we have no idea what she's talking about. We have no idea.
Yeah.
But she would not say who the person was who called on behalf of Sam Page.
Right. Man,
that's big.
Man, government corruption, even at the local level.
If what she's saying is true, I can't imagine that's not a crime.
Yeah, that's got to be, because you're using the public position, public dollars for campaigning.
Right. If they had called a private investigator, said, go find dirt on this guy, totally legal.
That's different. Yeah.
That's just politics.
Yeah, you can hire somebody to do that.
You can do that. But to say, hey, somebody on the payroll, go find dirt on this candidate so we can get him or we can beat him or whatever the case is.
You can't do that.
Yeah, unbelievable. We're going to talk to Mark Harder about that in right around 7:35 or so. All right, there's been a second arrest in connection with the murder of CBC student Colin Brown. 28-year-old Donovan Bauckham now faces first-degree murder, first-degree assault, and 4 other charges. He's being held without bond. The other suspect, Garrett Jordan III, also being held without bond, although there's a bond hearing on Monday. Brown was hit with what police say was a stray bullet while he and his father were on I-55. Okay, so if you're you get a note and suddenly your shipment from Amazon for Christmas gets delayed and it's late, who you gonna blame? So thousands of Amazon workers nationwide start a strike demanding more money, better benefits, working conditions that are safer, all of them upset with Amazon's refusal to negotiate with the union employees, because the Amazon is basically not recognizing those who voted to join the union. One worker at a facility in Queens says he wants some appreciation.
We need them to sit down and negotiate with us. You know, we're not asking for too much. We're just asking for negotiation. You know, it's just respect, recognition. We do this job every day.
So Teamsters president Sean O'Brien, who's a real slime ball, he says if your package doesn't arrive on time, blame Amazon's insatiable greed, not the workers who decided to target them at their busiest time of year right before Christmas and make you the sacrificial lamb for their union negotiations.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I'm curious though. why they chose this time. I mean, I suppose it's the most effective because everybody's waiting for their packages.
Because
and
these
everything
unions don't care about anybody but themselves and their dues paying members. It's a racket.
Well, we went through this over Black Friday weekend.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
remember?
that's right. That's right. They didn't they have these similar discussions then?
Yes.
Yeah, and also remember the ports workers strike as well.
Oh yeah,
and they were like, "This is going to hit you hard. Blame them."
Mm-hmm.
No, we blame you.
Yeah,
bunch of a-holes.
I don't know why they keep thinking that they're not going to catch any flack for this.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's basically what's the time where we can exert the most pain on people who have nothing to do with this.
Right,
they're going to rally to our side if we just make sure that they can't get their Christmas presents or grandma's insulin or whatever you're shipping through Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just slimy.
Yeah, it's gross.
Anomaly slimy. Yeah. Go ahead. 314-912-1019. Go ahead and call me and yell at me if you want to. I mean, that's fine.
Call us on the slime line.
Yeah, that's right. All right. The Blues start a 3-game road trip tonight in Florida. Up first is a game against the Lightning. Puck drops at 6:00 our time for this one. Blues are sitting at an even 15-15-3 record, while the Lightning come into the game with a 17-10-2 record.
By the way, side note on Enterprise Center, guess who was there last night?
Yeah, TSO.
TSO was there.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra was
they
there.
actually showed up before Christmas, which kind of shocked me.
Was it you that I think you texted me that?
Yep.
And I went, we're talking about them for like 10 minutes yesterday. I didn't even know they were in town.
Yeah, seriously. Their trucks are right outside.
Your indifference. Stop right now before you blow us all away. You wanna do that? Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up, get up.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote quality Christ-centered K-12 education nationwide.
Hi, this is Chris Stegall with the Herzog Foundation. We offer a wide variety of resources relevant to today's families, including a free online publication called The Lion. The lion is one of God's most majestic creatures, symbolizing strength and courage. Named for its attributes, the Lion publication carries articles covering a wide range of topics facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. The Lion can be found online at readlion.com. That's READ lion.com.
Sign up for The Lion at readlion.com and find dozens of must-read articles published every day. Visit readlion.com and subscribe for the weekly and daily digests so you never miss an article. Readlion.com. That's readlion.com.
Dr. Randy Tobler here, and I know that when you're looking for a dentist, you have to make sure you choose a dental practice that's compatible with you and the needs of your family. Well, I'd like to tell you about my dentist, Dr. Dan Cusimano, and his partner, Megan Dwyer, and their team at Advanced Dentistry at St. Charles. A great team at Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles can accommodate all of your cosmetic and restorative needs because their passion is general dentistry. Implants, crowns, bridges, even dentures. That what you need the most is what they'll provide in a personalized, focused way. And they can provide therapeutic and cosmetic options like Botox and dermal fillers. Get to know them and all they have to offer by calling 636-978-0226 or visit them on the web at advanceddentistrynow.com. That's Dr. Daniel Cusimano and Dr. Megan Dwyer at Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles.
That's Advanced Dentistry Now, 636-978-0226. Or visit them on the web at advanceddentistrynow.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
You waiting for a scream?
Yep.
Okay.
You gotta let the song fall in, man. All right, an assistant prosecutor in St. Louis County. I want to follow up on this. We just talked about the news up here. Says Sam Page, or somebody working for Sam Page, told her to use her position to help beat a Republican candidate for county council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So-
I certainly wouldn't put this past.
Oh,
Sam
no,
Page
no, no.
or anybody in his office.
Right. I believe it. I wish she had named names.
Yeah, seriously.
In public.
If you're gonna drop this big bombshell, at least go the full Monty on it, right?
Yeah, exactly. 314-912-1019. By the way, speaking of like great 80s music like this, that's tomorrow's Flashback Friday.
Indeed.
Yeah, so get your 80s bump music request in. Some of y'all have been sending in Christmas songs. It's still too early for Christmas music.
But somehow we'll mix a few.
A few of those are coming. So 80s bump music requests, email Stell or send it to us on social media. And that's tomorrow here. Let's see here, because when is Christmas is what, next Wednesday? Wednesday.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah. So we know. I guess there could be a Flashback Friday next Friday.
Sure.
No, none of us will be here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
yeah.
Gable, you'll be here.
I'm hosting, but
Yeah.
I guess I could load up. I can't remember who's filling in for you, Stell, but I guess
All
I
right.
could load them up.
I think
on
it's Jerome.
Whatever.
You
yeah,
know what?
It might be Jerome
Maybe there is, but this might be the last Flashback Friday of the year.
of the year. Yeah, absolutely.
So no pressure, but make it good.
yeah, seriously.
If it's bad, it's like everybody else's fault but mine.
Yeah, gonna leave a bad taste in your mouth right through to New Year.
Do you really want that on your conscience going to 2025?
On your conscience
with a that's about this time of year. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody's about to get their break, and we're going to see family and friends, and so the world is falling apart. But let's have fun with it.
Yeah, please.
All right. All right. So Melissa Price Smith is a 20-year prosecutor in the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. That's who Governor Parson wants to appoint to become the new prosecutor once Wesley Bell is sworn into Congress in January. And so what happened was the county council invited both of the selections, Sam Page's and Governor Parsons, which was a smart move on their part to question them both. Now, Melissa Price Smith did not need to show up.
Right.
Because if the court rules for Governor Parson and they say he gets to pick, she just gets the job and the county council doesn't have any say in it.
Right.
Now, I don't personally think that that's the right interpretation of the law.
Right.
But let's say the court rules with the governor. Well, she's going to be the county prosecutor, whether the county council likes it or not. So she didn't have to show up. So it was actually a very good move for her to do that and show a lot of good faith. Now, if the court rules for Sam Page, then he's going to have to go back and find another nominee, because at least 5 of the members of the county council have said, we don't want this guy. No.
Right.
So I don't know if that means that he's still having a temporary office, because he was given an office to work out of,
Seriously.
even though he's actually not on the payroll.
I think the drapes are on back order.
Yeah, which is phenomenally inappropriate, because you're talking about him having access to a lot of privileged information if he's working with the prosecutors already in there. So he's going to have to ship his stuff out, pack up his boxes, and head back to the hood where I live.
Yeah, seriously.
Because since he's my neighbor and all, which is interesting. I'm gonna see if I run into him like this weekend or something, or him and David, his partner, just to go, how'd that go? To see. I haven't talked to. I mean, I see him walking around with their dog and everything, but I haven't really talked to him in a while. So she shows up, and over the course of the questions, I don't even understand how they got to this point, but here's the clip. Here's what Melissa Price Smith said in public at this meeting earlier this week.
I received a phone call from someone on behalf of Dr. Page asking me to find dirt on Mike Archer,
Mike Archer.
the new council member
Okay.
who will take his seat in January. I informed the caller that I had never worked with Mike Archer because he had worked in the prosecutor's office. I told them I had no dirt on Mike Archer, and that it was my understanding that he quit years before I began. I received a call 2 days later from the same person on behalf of Dr. Page instructing me to try harder. And we never spoke again.
Okay, so here's the thing, is that let's assume she's telling the truth here.
Right.
Which there is zero reason for her to lie that I know of. but let's assume she's telling the truth for the sake of this part of the discussion. The county executive has zero authority over the elected county prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing the county prosecutor needs to work with the county executive on, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of programs they can do, but when it comes to like, hey, I need this much budget, please work with me to get this much budget out of the council, but they need to work with the council on that too. So what you have here is her saying somebody, and she would not name names, unfortunately. I wish that she did.
Yeah,
if you're going to make that kind of bombshell drop,
right,
I think you should say this person called on behalf of Sam Page, because now the media is trying to get a statement out of Page, and all they're saying is Sam Page has no idea what she's talking about.
Mhm.
You know, I don't believe him.
No,
I don't know Melissa Price Smith, but I believe her on this. Probably because I want to, and there's a little bit of bias. And let's be honest, there's a little bit of bias and projection on there.
Well, the other aspect of the bias is that Sam Page is a horrible person,
Yeah.
proven over many years. So I wouldn't put it past
We
him.
have a pattern of behavior.
Yes,
on this,
yes,
so,
we do.
Yeah. So if what she's saying is true, then you've got somebody from the executive's office instructing an assistant prosecuting attorney. She didn't say Wesley Bell. She said on behalf of Sam Page
Mm-hmm.
to help them defeat a Republican candidate for county council, which Mike Archer did win that seat. He is going to become a county councilman in January.
Leveraging her position of public trust.
Right. Which she says she did not do, and then got called back and said, try harder.
Mm.
And she said she didn't do it at all. So if that in any way, shape, or form is true, it's another level of corruption with Sam Page. And by the way, Sam Page is not term limited out. So he can and probably will be reelected here in a couple of years.
Seriously, it boggles the mind that such an unpopular and incompetent and corrupt figure would have such longevity in government. But here we are, because one, the Democrats, as long as there's a D there, they're gonna vote, and the Republicans have been refusing to put up a solid challenger for a while.
I mean, Democrats hate Sam Page, but they'll still vote for him.
Yeah.
Because Republicans, I mean, you had Mark Mantovani, who was a Democrat who ran on the Republican ticket, but he had weeks to mount a campaign.
Right.
And it was just a debacle from the beginning because of the way that primary turned out, and some complete crazy nobody ended up being the nominee who had no grasp of reality. Remember, we had her on this show and we're like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
That's just nuts. So Sam Page right now doesn't really have a lot of incentive to be ethical, to be honest. He's going to win election no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people who hate him are going to vote for him.
Seriously.
So he's really got nothing to worry about. So in this particular case, I've got to ask the question, is this a criminal act if she can prove that this happened? I mean, is it criminal for one part of the government to say, I instruct you to use your government position to try to influence this election?
It's absolutely criminal. Yeah, and so she needs to name names.
I want the names.
She needs to name names, because let's say for the sake of argument that Sam Page didn't know that somehow this order didn't come from the top, that it was just a zealous acolyte of his, a really excited person on his staff who said, you know what, I'm going to help the boss.
Right.
And decided on his or her own to do this. That person still was trying to do something illegal and needs to pay for it.
Right. I mean, she got the call in her office twice.
Yep.
And she said, on behalf of.
Yes.
Lawyers choose their words carefully.
Yes, they do.
Calling on behalf of.
That means she understood that this person is and continues to be a surrogate of Sam Page.
Yeah.
She knows that for a fact. Otherwise, she's not saying it that way.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was a bunch of. We're going to talk to Mark Harder, which, by the way, I asked Mark about that whole budget thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I got some things right and some things wrong.
Okay.
On this. There was last minute additions and stuff. Some of those were by the council.
Okay.
In order to prevent Page from throwing a fit on some things. And then there were some other things the other way as well. So we're going to get the update on that from Mark as well. All right. Is even Disney getting the message regarding the culture war stuff? They've actually made a surprising move. You would think the fact that they're correcting a horrible mistake and a disgusting idea would not be news. The news would be that they thought it was a good idea in the first place.
Yeah.
But they've now clearly are feeling the pressure from the market. So maybe not even Disney is too big to ignore when the market says that's enough. You've gone too far. We'll talk about that around 6:34.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL.
What's that sound? Here she comes, full blast top down. Hot shoe, burning down the avenue. I'm a citizen, zero display. Don't you know she's coming home?
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After a chilly start, we've got a decent warm-up for you today, up to 49 degrees this afternoon, under mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. But tonight, a cold front swings through, brings a shot of colder air along with it. 28 for the low Friday morning, but only climbing to 35 tomorrow afternoon. And with a stiff northwest wind chills in the teens tomorrow morning and 20s tomorrow afternoon. We'll keep it dry, though, all the way through the weekend. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Tony Colombo here for the Farmers Co-op Old Town Country Store in Old Town St. Peters, where they have a huge selection of products and services for your yard and home, including a full line of lawn and garden products, a full line of products for animal care, and that includes anything from livestock to the family dog or cat. They'll fill any size propane tank for about half the price of a new one, and so much more. Visit them in St. Peters on 2nd Street, right behind the QT at 70 and Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, and check out all their products and services at oldtowncountrystore.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Tony Colombo here for the cleaning pros at Zero Res, the team we trust with keeping our home clean and healthy. And the folks at Zero Res know how important it is to you to have a clean, healthy home this holiday season. And that's why they have this great offer for you right now. Book a cleaning with Zero Res and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Again, just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
We'll speak with Steve Bucci on the Ukrainian attack on the Russian general, school choice with Chris DeGaulle, and in 540, Todd Sivia, the official lawyer for the Tim Jones and Chris Arps show.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool
Sorry.
in the shed.
I didn't realize my mic was on.
What did you do over there?
Just clear my throat right to the mic so everybody can hear me.
Do you feel better now, though?
I do. Actually, you know what? I need my daily cup of white supremacy.
Yeah, there you go. That's going to live on in infamy.
It is. Now, by the way, to explain it to those
for the new
listeners out there, by the way, there has been a great number of things that the media has called aspects or agents of white supremacy.
Media, and they're parroting like academic types who
Oh,
were
gosh,
behind
yeah.
the ivory towers.
like the Southern Poverty Law Center and these kind of people. They call everything white supremacy. At
Even
one-
Larry Elder.
Larry Elder was called the blackface of white supremacy. Milk has been called white supremacist.
Milk.
Going to the gym has been called
Yeah,
a
that's
a
right.
vector for white supremacy. So and at one point, coffee was being discussed as a sort of white supremacist drink. So every morning I have my daily dose, my daily cup of white supremacy.
I noticed that you happen to still be black, though.
I know it's not working. It's like I still feel superior to everybody else I know, including white people. So I don't know.
Oh wow!
Sorry,
I love it.
I'm kidding. Okay.
What's in that coffee? Is this an Irish coffee?
It's an Irish coffee. Little boozy.
And to say, if so, well, you're not sharing. What the hell? All right. Is even Disney getting the message here?
Hope so.
Yeah. They've pulled a trans storyline from a children's show that's upcoming, and the perverts on the left are kind of losing their mind on this. We'll get into that here in a second. It's 6:35 right now. Hey, don't forget News Talk STL. We want to fill your stockings with some great gifts. We've got over $1,000 of gifts and merchandise and memberships to give away, and you can register to win and get you some at newstalkstl.com. Let's see here. What are we giving away here? Gift cards from Woodson Stonefire Pizza on West Clay in St. Charles. I'm going to admit I've not been there, but I've heard phenomenal things about it.
I've seen really great reviews for the place.
Let's see here. I love this one. 1-year range membership from Metro Shooting and Supplies, and that's good in both their Bridgeton and Belleville locations. Let's see here. Gift cards, Tropical World Pets on Watson in Crestwood, and of course, News Talk STL merchandise as well. All right. Disney is like one of the few giant leftist organizations out there, and it's really a shame that that's what they've become in the past several years. They've really become more of an activist for social change than just the happiest place on earth. And so after years of losing money on their films, because have they had any of their big films really make a lot of money, Gabe? You follow this closer than I do.
Yeah, I haven't seen any pull in some big numbers, except for I think Deadpool recently, the Deadpool
that's
sequel.
a Disney one?
That's a Disney
Okay.
one because it falls into the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of thing. Their whole deal. That was and this is post their acquisition of the Fox library.
All right.
So that was one of the big deals.
But as far as like the Disney brand itself,
gosh,
they're basically taking a bath on everything they put out.
Absolutely. We are way past the golden age of Disney movies, like the Disney kids cartoon movies.
Right.
You had your Lion King, Beauty and the Beast,
Stuff with Pixar.
All the Pixar movies. Yeah, those were basically printing money for a good long while. It's like, hey, a new Disney cartoon movie is coming out. All the kids are going to buy the merch, and they're going to pick their favorite princess or whatever, and they're going to continue to make money ad nauseum forever and ever and ever.
Well,
but now they've released several new original stories that have gone nowhere.
Yeah, and those ones you were mentioning, they were great and are great films, great
Classics
storylines.
now.
Yeah,
They're new classics.
So here's what's going on here. Disney is announcing that they were going to have a so-called transgender storyline in an upcoming animated series called Win or Lose, which centers on a co-ed high school softball team. Well, that's real. Okay, so the series was going to be on Disney Plus starting in February, and it includes I'm reading from both Red State and MRC TV on this one. So the story, like I said, was supposed to come out in February 2025. Still includes a so-called trans character, but the company has removed lines of dialogue referencing the character's gender identity, according to the Hollywood Reporter. Remember, this is targeted at children. This is a cartoon targeted to children.
Yeah.
And so the statement that they put out said, I'm quoting here, "When it comes to animated content for a younger audience, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their own terms and timeline." You're just now figuring that out? No, you knew that before, but you wanted to force the issue.
Yeah.
Because for generations, Disney was a babysitter.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you, being a single parent for many, many, many years, there were some Disney, VHS tapes that I knew that I could put in and my daughter would watch because she loved it with the singing and the dancing and the cartoons so that I could clean the house.
Right.
Or do something. So I have used Disney, stuff as a babysitter. They know that people just trusted that brand so much. And now what's happened is they don't.
Oh
We
gosh,
don't.
no. And we shouldn't really.
Yeah.
Disney has been failing in large part because they've decided that they were going to leverage their position of trust with parents and with basically all of America, all the world really.
Yeah.
And they were going to leverage that to push their agenda.
Right.
And in doing so, they, people realized and they alienated all of their viewers. I don't plug my YouTube channel much anymore because
you should.
Because part of it is because I don't add any new content.
Oh, well, that's
I haven't been doing that for quite a while, but there are over 100 videos on there, and one of them is called Tragic Kingdom: The Desecration of Disney that I posted 2 years ago. I would suggest you go check that out, St. John the Philosopher on YouTube, where I kind of go over the how they built their reputation and what they've been doing since. And it's basically as horrific as you can imagine, and I'm not surprised that there have been these tepid nods towards sort of correcting this, but it's still not enough. The fact that they're pursuing a storyline with a trans character to begin with in a project aimed towards children is already a step too far.
Well, and the character is voiced by a 18-year-old, a young man, 18-year-old man who pretends to be a woman and tries to live like a woman. And so he's the voice of the show's so-called trans character. And he's quoted as saying that he was disheartened when Disney called to tell him the lines openly promoting the gender propaganda to little children were cut from the story. He's quoted as saying, "It's just that my character would now be a cis girl, a straight cis girl. So yeah, that's all they really told me, and that I was still part of the show." So you've got a boy voicing what they say is a girl. He says, I'm quoting again, "I was very disheartened. From the moment I got the script, I was excited to share my journey to help empower other trans youth." Commentary note, that's another way of saying grooming.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, "I knew this would be a very important conversation. Trans stories matter and they deserve to be heard." No, they do not.
No, they don't.
So basically, you got somebody that says Disney isn't letting me become a groomer through, a pervert groomer through these, and I'm very disheartened about it. Well, you're 18 years old now. You're an adult now, so be ready to take the weight of the market on this one, dude. I don't care if you're wearing a dress or not.
Yeah, and for a long time, Disney has been, just kind of living on their legacy and surviving on their reputation. But they've gone so far in destroying that reputation that I'm not sure they're going to be able to get it back for a long time.
Right. I mean, they're not going out of business anytime soon.
Sure.
They can still pay the mortgage. They're not going to worry about that. But
but their value's been cut in half over the last 10 years.
We're talking billions of dollars.
Billions
at this point, and they have lost their self-governing status in Florida.
That's right.
So they've had some recent films, including 2022, one called Strange World, which I did not see.
Yeah, nobody saw.
Another called Lightyear.
Yep.
Now, was that like a Buzz Lightyear spinoff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was. Also, nobody saw that one
because apparently they had LGBT characters and storylines.
Yeah, there was a lesbian character whose partner was in it, and she was the mom of I think one of the main characters of the movie. Oh, and Buzz Lightyear wasn't actually the main character. He was kind of a side character in his own story.
What?
Yeah, that's one of the tendencies in the way they write these storylines.
Right.
They have to leverage the character everybody likes, especially if it's a white male, and subvert it by adding a quote unquote diverse, usually female character to basically usurp them.
Okay, so here's the thing: is have we won the culture war? No, I don't think we have.
No,
not even close.
Have we regained some ground?
Yeah, we've won a few skirmishes.
I think so.
I think we stopped getting pushed back.
Yeah,
I think that's the most That's the most credit I'm going to give us right now is that we stopped getting pushed back towards the cliff. Now, in order to actually start moving forward, to start fighting back, I think we have to get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, we've got to also not even just, and you can say, well, why do you want to control it? What Disney does? Don't you let the market speak? The market is speaking.
Yeah, that's what we're
saying.
saying.
This conversation is the market speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And so the market is speaking. Disney isn't getting the message. Well, they're starting to a little bit, it looks like, because what's happening is some of these media conglomerates, they basically have come to the conclusion that we're bigger than the market.
Yes.
It's like corporate America being sort of captured. And then you got the CRT or the DEI stuff. You got the activism stuff and the, donating to Black Lives Matter stuff and all this kind of stuff. And
the rainbow logos everywhere, right?
The Pride Month stuff. And so it wasn't until the market finally said, no, you're part of it and we're bigger than you.
Right.
And you're going to win some with some people on this, but you're going to lose some with a lot of people too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the recent market responses that we've been having, they have to continue in order for the message to really hit home.
Right.
I mean, because these people are ideologues, especially, the kids who came up in college underneath the crazy commies who taught them to be activists. They're the ones in charge right now, and their activism right now is superseding whatever capitalistic, impulses they still have, because they're ultimately they're fighting for a communistic world.
Right.
But they're willing to take a bath on some of these financial aspects because the message is important. Yeah. Well, this is important.
We have a responsibility to use our platform.
I'm trying to change the world here. Got to break a few eggs to get there. Now, of course, it's not their money. They're still getting paid their salary, but the investors are losing. It's the investors now who are going to have to push back and say, hey, I lost half my portfolio because of Disney's craziness. Yeah. You need to pull that garbage back, or else there's going to be hell to pay. Right. And only until that actually happens will we start seeing these a receding of the DEI and gender garbage.
Does that mean that the country's become this Christian fascist right-wing bigoted? No. What it means is that there are parents across the ideological spectrum who are saying, I choose not to let you indoctrinate my children. There are hundreds and thousands of other options for entertainment out there.
Yep.
I don't have to go to yours, and your brand is now stained.
And as Jay Monty on Rumble comments, whenever it's anything on Disney's side failing, they always blame the fans. It's never their fault.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's their go-to. Actually, not just Disney. Anybody in Hollywood, if something fails, you remember that I think what was it called, Bros or something like that? It was a gay rom-com.
I can honestly say I've never heard of it. Yeah.
It was supposed to be this revolutionary thing. It's like, we're going to do a rom-com with a gay couple. And it was the worst thing ever. Nobody saw it. And they said, you bigots in America.
You didn't watch.
That just sounds terrible.
As we made our inappropriate
because there are some really funny gay characters out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Billy Crystal and Soap was hysterical back in the day. I mean, there were some really funny gay characters. A gay rom-com? No, I ain't watching that.
Nobody did.
No.
less than nobody.
I got some friends who were gay. I'm pretty sure they would go, ooh, no.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine in or carry out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
As someone who practiced law for nearly 20 years, I can tell you it's important to have your own attorney who can help you through all of life's transitions, assist you with all your legal needs. At Civia Law, they do just that. They specialize in helping you veterans as well with your veteran benefits. They also do estate planning, elder law, real estate, business matters, and more. The attorneys at Civia Law standing by to assist you and yours today. Check out all they've got to offer, including special online forms at civialaw.com. 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL.
Hey, how you doing? Santa Vic here.
And Santa's head, Vic head. Here.
And you can win some great prizes with News Talk STL's St. Louis Conservative Christmas.
You forgot the ho-ho-ho. You forgot the ho-ho-ho.
Oh!
No, ho-ho.
Oh!
A St. Louis Conservative Christmas. Log on to newstalkstl.com for your chance to win. Brought to you by Woodson Stonefire, Tropical World Pets, El Morelia Supermercado, and Metro Shooting Supplies.
Oh!
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hi, it's Dan Bongino here, and I'm proud to be on News Talk STL every weekday from 11 to 2. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the Morning.
Little Gary Hoey there.
Actually, Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
Oh, this is Kenny Wayne Shepherd. No
Yeah.
kidding. Man, that's like Gary Hoey style.
I kind of ran across it a couple days ago and figured, hey, ooh, this sounds pretty good.
Yeah, because Gary Hoey did do this song on one of his. Oh, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, man. He great. He first hit the scene. He was like 16 or something.
He was a kid.
Yeah. But you're like, wait a minute. That bluesy guitar comes out of that white kid? What? Yeah. That was some good stuff. All right, looks like we might get our government shut down for Christmas after all.
Yay!
That's right. And who asked the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney to find dirt on a Republican candidate and abuse her office? And, well, a little bit later on today, so maybe in about 15 minutes or so, how are Christian schools reacting when it comes to, the attack and the murder at a Christian school in Wisconsin? That's all still ahead. Let's go ahead and dump some news on you here.
Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
All right, the bloated bill is now tanked. The one Mike Johnson was saying, don't worry about it, guys. Just give me this temporary spending thing so that we can get through the holiday season. And then a lot of Republicans and a lot of media started doing some weird stuff, like reading it.
Yeah, it's a wild idea.
We should, I should have thought of, let's look up the list of some of the things that were in this thing.
I got it.
Throughout the day here. So now there is negotiations of a smaller, what people are calling a cleaner continuing resolution to fund the government, because tomorrow is the deadline. Midnight, Friday night, Saturday morning, technically is the end of the authorization of spending. Now, make no mistake here. This isn't about the government running out of money. They have the money. This is about a bill that authorizes them to keep spending the money, but that authorization expires at the end of Friday. So like 12:01 Saturday morning. So Minority House Leader Hakeem Jeffries says, you know what? If the government shuts down, this is on the Republicans.
House Republicans will now own any harm that is visited upon the American people that results from a government shutdown or worse.
All right. Your terms are acceptable. Somebody point out the harm done to the American people.
Exactly. And can I point out the potential harm of passing the stupid thing?
Yes.
Because there's a lot there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And you know what's even more ironic? You could take that exact phrase that Hakeem did right there and put Schumer in there. and he would have said exactly the same thing. We always hear the same stuff from the left every single time in a situation like this.
So Senator Josh Hawley, I know this is going to be a surprise to a lot of you. He was on Hannity last night.
What?
Yeah, imagine that.
It's like he's got a seat with his name on it. There.
So yeah, so he's got a different take on the bill.
It is a total travesty. This has got to change, Sean. I mean, we cannot go on like this. And I hope the Republican leadership gets the message here, the message of this election, which is that people want change. They don't want this garbage.
Yeah. So when you look at some of the things like, look up the social media accounts like Thomas Massey and Nancy Mace and some of the others, I haven't looked at it yet, but I think Rand Paul probably has a few as well out there. But it's just insane.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through. I saw that Nancy Mace had a thread where she went through some of the craziness that's in this thing, and I'm looking for it. They redefined criminals as justice impacted individuals,
which has nothing to do with spending anything.
No, exactly. It allows for continued funding of gain of function research, and solidifies basically all of the criminal things that they did to us during the COVID shutdowns. Basically, it solidifies their ability to continue to do that kind of bullcrap. There's lots of other things, and just printing the thing out and putting it on your desk.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, she's got a video of herself just kind of talking over top of this massive stack of paper. She's like, yeah, so we've had less than 1,500 minutes since this was released to us, and they're asking for a vote.
As my mom would have said, that's a tome you've got right there.
A tome,
yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of Republicans really angry with Mike Johnson right now. Now, does that? So I haven't heard any talk of him not being reelected speaker, but there's a lot of Republicans who are very frustrated with him right now. And this is the go along to get along kind of garbage that happens in a swampy environment. So hopefully he is learning his lessons from getting his ass kicked on this. All right. President-elect Donald Trump and his transition team reportedly considering expanding the use of GPS ankle monitors to track illegal immigrants who are not being held in federal custody. Congressman Tony Gonzalez is a Republican out of Texas. He was on America Reports on Fox. He says, you know what? Good idea.
In my eyes, an ankle monitor or something else a little bit more forceful allows you to know who's in our country, where are they, and if you've got to go apprehend them, you know where to get them from.
That's not a bad idea.
Absolutely.
It's really not. And somebody said, well, that's humiliating. They're not convicted of any crimes, and they've got the ankle monitor. Well, if they're in the country illegally, you've committed a crime.
That's crime number one.
Yeah,
that's the first crime.
And I think that I would be totally okay with that. We have to become hardcore on this.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can't transition away from the garbage that we've seen from the Biden administration over the last few years. And we just have to be hardcore on this. So on this, I'm 100% with Donald Trump if he truly is thinking about doing something like this.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm with him.
All right. The Blues start a 3-game road trip tonight in Florida. Up first, game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. 6:00 our time is a puck drop there. Blues are at an even 15-15-3 record, while the Lightning come into the game with a 17-10-2 record.
Craving a taste of Italy? Look no further than Vitale's Deli.
Family owned and locally operated, we're bringing a little bit of the hill to the heart of Glendale. Our friendly staff treats you like family, serving up a delicious variety of sandwiches inspired by authentic Italian flavors. And don't forget, Vitale's is the perfect spot for all your holiday sandwich needs this Christmas and New Year's.
Come see us.
Call 314-966-9912 or visit vitalesdeli.com.
Vitale's Deli, where great food meets a family tradition.
No.
Is your computer giving you headaches? Make it happy again with Jeff Computers. For 30 years, this locally and family-owned business has been the St. Louis area's trusted one-stop shop for cybersecurity, managed IT, and data recovery services. Choose the experts at Jeff Computers. They offer computer protection plans and can recover your lost or damaged data. Visit them in Ellisville or call 636-256-7901. Online at jeffcomputers.com and tell them Newstalk STL sent you.
Looking for a top-quality tactical gear and expert advice? Look no further than Discount Tactical, your one-stop shop for all things firearms and self-defense. Located in the heart of Warrenton, we've been serving the community for 3 years with our friendly, professional, and knowledgeable staff. From custom AR builds and silencers to the largest selection of parts, we've got you covered. Self-defense weapons, SBRs, knives, ammo, custom holsters, weapon lights, optics, and body armor. Discount Tactical. Online at discounttacticalarmory.com or stop by today and gear up with confidence.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House. The suspect in the killing of a healthcare insurance company CEO is expected to waive extradition to New York.
The man accused of gunning down the CEO of United Healthcare on a Manhattan street is scheduled to appear in court in Pennsylvania today for a preliminary hearing on forgery and firearms charges. A person familiar with the matter says Luigi Mangione is also expected to waive extradition, clearing the way for his return to New York. If the judge in Blair County, Pennsylvania authorizes the extradition, Mangione could be brought back to New York to appear in state court for arraignment. Mangione faces charges of murder as an act of terrorism in New York, the December 4th killing of United Healthcare Chief Executive Brian Thompson. I'm Donna Warder.
The Federal Reserve has cut its key interest rate by 1/4 point, its third cut this year. Federal Reserve Board Chairman Jerome Powell says the Fed is predicting fewer rate cuts next year than previously thought.
A slower pace of cuts for next year really reflects both the higher inflation readings we've had this year and the expectation inflation will be higher.
The Fed's expectation of just 2 rate cuts in 2025 rattled Wall Street yesterday, sending stock prices plummeting in the worst day for the market in 4 months. Israel launched 2 waves of airstrikes on Yemen overnight, its military acknowledging carrying out the strikes on 3 ports in Yemen and energy sites in Sana'a, saying it was targeting infrastructure used by the Houthi rebels to stage their attacks in the Red Sea. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters says workers at 7 Amazon facilities are striking this morning. On Wall Street, Dow futures are ahead 259 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Anyone with everyday aches and pains, I've got a question. What are you missing out on? Probably a lot. So let me tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In about 3 weeks, you'll discover what it's like to feel better. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4RELIEF.
Not sure how much you know about Progressive Insurance. You may know us for insuring your home and auto. You may know a couple of our commercials. But what you may not know is that since 2013, Progressive has been honoring veterans with vehicle donations through the annual Keys to Progress Veteran Vehicle Giveaway Program, giving back to those who gave so much. Now, you probably didn't wake up today saying, I really wish I knew more about Progressive Insurance, but this seemed like the type of thing people wouldn't mind hearing about. Find out more about how we're dedicated to our customers and communities at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Bible. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After a chilly start, we've got a decent warm-up for you today, up to 49 degrees this afternoon, under mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. But tonight, a cold front swings through, brings a shot of colder air along with it. 28 for the low Friday morning, but only climbing to 35 tomorrow afternoon. And with a stiff northwest wind chills in the teens tomorrow morning and 20s tomorrow afternoon. We'll keep it dry, though, all the way through the weekend. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt James.
This hour of News Talk STL, brought to you by Piccadilly Palace, located in Union, Missouri. The ultimate family fun center is Piccadilly Palace. Call 314-860-6418 or visit piccadillypalace.com.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every week yet on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare you! Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
I don't know that the murders in Madison, Wisconsin at the Abundant Life Christian School was specifically an attack because it was a Christian school. But still, how are Christian schools around the country reacting after that tragedy happened? And maybe that was a factor in it, but we don't know that at this point. I've got a feeling that Natalie Rupp now would have gone on the rampage regardless of what school she was in. It's just from what I can tell here.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of breaking news we're getting right now is that there's a 20-year-old man in California has been arrested for coordinating with her via, internet messages.
Yeah, she was in contact with him, wasn't she?
She was in contact with a 20-year-old man. What that fully looks like, that's literally breaking over the last several minutes.
Yeah.
Or so. So we're going to get more details throughout the next day or so.
The report suggested that he was suggesting he was going to attack a government building with explosives and firearms as well.
We're a team encouraging the teen. So we'll see what that looks like here.
I believe he's in custody, right?
Yeah, they've made the arrest,
and his firearms have been confiscated.
Yep, they have made the arrest. All right, so still ahead here. What are the St. Louis things that will or should get you on the naughty list?
Oh.
Okay, I've got one
specifically St. Louis
because it happened yesterday. I saw it again yesterday.
Okay,
so I've got my St. Louis things that will get you on the naughty list. So let's. I want to hear your ideas about that at 7:20. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Joined now by Daryl Jones from the Herzog Foundation. And okay, so Daryl, I mean, we got the news of obviously the shooting at the Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin, and it seems to me, and you might have sources that I don't have, but it doesn't necessarily look to me like this happened because she was at a Christian school. If she were at a public school, if she were at a Montessori school, it could have happened anywhere, at least from what I can tell. But in the Christian school community, there's got to be that recoiling effect, that gut punch effect. My kids have graduated from school. So they're not in it anymore, but I can only imagine what it would be like if they were still at the school they were at.
Yeah, you're exactly right. By the way, I can't help but notice you talk about the naughty list and then you throw it to me. No, what the heck is that all about?
Well, make sure that you're listening at 7:20. We'll tell you what not to do in St. Louis.
Yeah. What when you're here.
There you go. I thought, well, great. Now I'm on their naughty list too. So there you go. Well, yeah, it's really honestly been quite sobering, and Christian schools across the country, exactly. The whole PTSD of, oh my gosh, here we go again. But I will tell you, it has really been encouraging to see how Christian schools really since 2007, when ministry centers were becoming targets of hate. It's interesting how Christian schools have really been ramping up their own internal security. One just, in your backyard, Westminster Christian Academy, there in Town and Country, is a fantastic school that has really, over the years, ramped up their whole internal security. Our children safe on this campus, and you're finding it certainly there at Westminster, where you guys are, but around the country as well. And so, for many of the heads of school that we have talked to, by the way, we've posted a great article on readlion.com on this very topic since the shooting. But what we found is so many of the heads of school we've talked to are saying, we hate it. This is tragic. It is senseless, and it's caused us again just to review what are our procedures, what are our practices, and we feel as secure as we possibly can be on this end of an event, knowing you can't prepare for every scenario. We feel like they've really made not simply great strides, but really brought campus security to their campuses. Everything from cameras, AI infused cameras, even armed security, just a number of things to really make schools of learning places that are secure against intruder. One other thing I would say that I think is especially great in Christian schools is how they know who their students are, and they know the temperament and the personalities of their student. And so just the very nature of teachers and administrators greeting students when they're being dropped off in the morning and noticing, hey, this one appears to be having a bad day or a hard day. And, it is this child acting normal, or are they acting, abnormal today? Gives them opportunity certainly to minister to the child, but also to find out, what's going on with the child, and is there an issue here?
Morning, Daryl. Gabe here. Have you seen an equivalent reaction out of the public schools of trying to increase their security or use any of these innovations? Have they learned any lessons from the Christian schools who seem to be on the cutting edge here?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. The answer is absolutely. I mean, across the country, people that are responsible for students, whether it's church ministries, whether it's public education, Christian schools, or other private schools, everybody's recognizing that children are a threat and in danger. Children are a target, and that security really needs to be ramped up. It's exciting to see how Christian schools have certainly stepped up around the country as well.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one thing we can say it shouldn't be like this. I think it was either the police chief or the governor. Somebody in Wisconsin said, no, they didn't have metal detectors or anything. This is a school. They're not supposed to go through a military style. Well, yeah, that's true. It shouldn't be, but what should be and what is aren't always the same thing. You look at the Covenant School in Tennessee, that was targeted because of its faith-based traditional positions. On this. In this case, we don't know what the motivation was. We'll hopefully get some kind of confirmation on that. But at the same time, I mean, all of these security measures, it's great that we've got the cutting edge. Those cost something, and that cost has to be absorbed by somebody. So then it becomes, how do we still make that sort of school choice and that sort of education still accessible to families and parents who need it and who want it?
Yeah, that's really true. We do a number of trainings helping heads of school, with the operation best practices. And one of the trainings that we do is a 2-day training on campus security. And in that, we talk about, certainly bulletproof glass, film that can be put on glass to make it bullet resistant, give you more time before authorities can get there. But one of the other things that we talk about in that whole training is, just the idea that, yes, you're going to have to spend money, but these are the easiest dollars to raise when you're talking about the security of kids. Yes, it's a big investment, but of all of the things that Christian schools are raising dollars for, security issues are the easiest dollars to raise, because every parent, every grandparent, every member of the community recognizes the significance of that kind of an investment.
Now, as we move into a new year, there's going to be a lot of Congresses and going to be starting their new sessions around the country. And the public is showing really, really strong support, not just majorities, but in some cases, vast majorities of the public supporting various school choice initiatives. Are there any states that are kind of on the verge of having a breakout year?
Well, we're excited to see what Missouri will do. I mean, I'm aware of a few bills that have already been authored and put on file in the Missouri legislature. We're anxious to see, what kind of further steps that we can take in our state to give, really to give parents choice, parents to have options, the single mom who can have options for her child to be in a school where, real learning is taking place. And so, I've certainly had my eyes fixed on, Missouri, especially in light of neighboring states like Arkansas and Iowa to the north of us. I mean, those schools have made some really profound, sweeping changes, and we're anxious to see, as Governor-elect Tito comes in and takes office, where's his heart in this whole thing, and we believe he's going to be very supportive of expanding what we would call parental choice in education.
And we do have the Most Scholars program, and I got a note from Elizabeth in your office reminding everybody that this is actually can affect your taxes. So if somebody's looking for ways to say, let me affect my tax liability here, or at least direct it to a better place, how does that work with the Missouri Scholars or the Most Scholars program? And you all can be the clearinghouse for that.
Yes, absolutely. The state of Missouri in 2022 established law that Governor Parsons signed that says basically for every Missouri citizen and every corporation that pays Missouri tax. So if you and I pay Missouri taxes, either as individuals or corporately or both, up to 50% of what we will pay the state can actually go to one of these clearinghouses that can pool all of our money together and begin putting $6,400 per child to take advantage of private education, including Christian education. So our whole heart is to see more parents have options to put their kids in Christian schools where the academic rigor is solid and also embraces the values of the family. But we can only do that as we can raise those dollars, which then, the state of Missouri recognizes as 100% of your tax liability up to the 50% that you pay.
All right.
So as my friends in Jeff City say, you can give all of your tax liability to politicians in Jeff City, or you can give it half of it to politicians and the other half you can put kids in Christian schools. So the Herzog Foundation is the place to do that. HerzogFoundation.com. You can find out more.
All right, Daryl Jones, have a Merry Christmas next week. We're going to talk to you again after shortly after the first of the year. Once again, HerzogFoundation.org, right?
.com.
.com. I'm sorry, HerzogFoundation.com.
No, it's all good.
Yep. All right, great.
Thanks, guys, and Merry Christmas to you. And hey, stay off the naughty list.
That's right. We're going to tell you how to do that here in about 3 minutes. Actually,
Merry Christmas.
All right,
Okay,
thanks,
God
Daryl.
bless you guys. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right. So 314-912-1019, or send me a note. What are the St. Louis ways to get on the naughty list?
All right.
This idea came to me yesterday when I was driving home from work.
Oh, I can guess a couple already.
I was reminded of one of them.
The STL naughty list.
Yes,
All right.
the STL naughty list. Let's go over how to get on that list, maybe how to stay off that list right around 7:20 here.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Before you blow us all away. Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up, get up.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Ken and I will be on vacation when Hanukkah hits. So Thursday at 9 a.m. will be our big Hanukkah party with Karen Catley.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a 2-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
With the average funeral bill over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Speak with Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial. Contact Benjamin at memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial, everlasting protection.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
Larry Connors here with a perfect Christmas gift for the conservative in your life. Let's go to southern Italy on a tour of the most beautiful coastline in the world, the Amalfi Coast. Join me for 11 magical days with professionals from Conservative Tours, $54.88. That includes airfare from St. Louis. Call toll-free 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com. Let's go to Italy this spring.
Hi, Sean Long with STL Fenceworks. Our company realized another extraordinary year of great business. I thank God for engineering our success and for this great nation and all the blessings it offers those who persevere and work hard. Second, I want to personally thank the great customers who put their faith in our company to make their home and backyard dreams a vision fulfilled. STL Fenceworks doesn't exist without you, and I'm humbled and grateful for your patronage. I also want to thank all my great employees. You're the backbone of STL Fenceworks. You make my vision a reality. I'm truly honored to work amongst such fine people. Finally, as the year ends, I want to remind everyone to take time to enjoy the season. Embrace your family and friends. Count the blessings in your life. Reflect on the important things. And don't forget the true meaning of Christmas. When a baby was born, Jesus, our Savior. On behalf of everyone at STL Fenceworks, have a very Merry Christmas and a blessed and prosperous new year.
And then the media.
1019 and 94.1.
They lying about what's going on in America. They lying about it.
News Talk STL.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this dysfunctional radio station. It's the Right Mind Show with me, Todd Showalter, at 5 on Saturday. And, you know, speaking of dysfunctional, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I'm waking up at the start of the end of the world, but it's feeling just like every other morning before. Now I wonder what my life is going to be.
I'll see drones this Christmas in Jersey and Washington, D.C. We don't know if they're UFOs. Their mere presence frightens me. I hope they can't find me with their laser beams. I'll shoot drones this Christmas and a new year full of screams.
Yes,
that's right.
I love it. I'll see drones for Christmas.
All right. All right. If you haven't already connected with us on social media, do that. Here's my other Christmas present I'm asking from everybody is to hit the thumbs up button on Rumble and the like on Facebook and the little heart on Twitter or X and do the share thing. So just hit that thumbs up thing. That's my Christmas present request from all of you.
Yes, hit all of the buttons.
Hitting all the buttons. That's right. By the way, we have an emergency here. Stell, did you know this?
No, I did
There's
not.
an emergency in the room right now.
Oh, what's going on?
You forgot your cell phone.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that I forgot my cell phone. Yes, that's true.
I couldn't tell if you were talking to me or yourself when you walked in this morning.
Yeah. Honey, if you're listening, and I know you're listening, my cell phone should be on the table next to the door. Because that's the last place I remember having it. I guess I set it down and didn't pick it back up after I picked up my keys. I don't know why I forgot my cell phone, but for some reason I did, and I feel weird and kind of naked.
That's right.
And yeah.
And we've got this sixth sense now that at some point, usually right after the point of no return somewhere, you realize it's not there.
Yes, I was on the highway when I realized this.
I almost forgot mine yesterday. I went to baseball practice yesterday afternoon, did our workout, and then me and some of the guys just go to a sports bar and get some dinner afterwards. And I got my gear loaded up in my car. I was about to get in my car and I'm like, wait a minute. I don't sense my cell phone on me. There's a disturbance in the force.
Exactly.
And it ran back in, and sure enough, there was my phone on the table next to the bullpen pitching area. So I don't know what it is about that.
Apparently, I'm addicted to the 5G signal,
which are delivered by the drones.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
or being interrupted by the drones.
Oh, maybe
that's what it is.
Yeah.
All right, 7:25 right now. How do you get on the St. Louis naughty list?
I can think of one right off the bat.
All right, tell me.
Running red lights.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, I have never seen as many people run a red light in my life as I've seen in like one day. Driving around in the St. Louis area. I don't understand it. I guess they're just suggestions here.
I was gonna say sometimes they kind of slow down for
it. so they do ways before they cross the street.
Well, or at least one.
But they're rolling right through that red light.
That's true.
We always used to see them downtown when we had the station downtown. At
Yeah.
least I did.
Oh yeah.
You know, guys running lights on Tucker, on Market.
Gosh, yes.
Oh, Tucker was awful.
On
Probably
Washington.
still is.
It never failed. We would see, at least I would see one or two literally every day.
Okay, here's my way to get on the St. Louis naughty list.
Okay.
And again, I saw this again yesterday.
Okay.
When you're on the highway.
Uh-huh.
Now, this happened to be on 64. Could be 170, could be 270, could be I-70, could be 55. It could be any of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the slow driver, stay out of the middle lane.
And also, if you're the slow driver and your exit's coming up, don't decide to go 20 miles an hour and cut across all four lanes
Yes.
to try to get to the exit ramp.
That's another one.
I got to slow down from over on far left as I slowly make my way across the.
I go from 270 to eastbound 64 to get home. And I'm driving and I'm stuck because there's this slow driver in front of me. And then, listen, that's a 60 mile an hour zone at that point. So it's not a matter of I'm just mad because I can't go 75. We're going in the upper 50s. And then there's a car that's going slow next to me, but that's at least the lane that's going to turn. And then I've got cars whizzing by me on my left. I'm stuck behind this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally I get around him. And he looks like he's 100 years old. And he's on the highway. And when I look back in my mirror once I get around him, big traffic backup was building behind this clueless guy.
Oh, man.
Naughty list.
Naughty list right there.
Naughty list.
Yes.
And you know, there's another section there. And this is probably the area you're talking about from Lindbergh to maybe McCausland. I know that's a long stretch.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that far, but yeah.
You know, you've got all those extra ramps that have shown up since 64 was redone. And I think a lot of folks are not that familiar. Golly, it's been open for 3 or 4. I don't know how many years it's been open, but you've got all the ramps that go to the right, and you've got Hanley and Brentwood, and then you got
right there by my
Big
house.
Bend and all those other exits, McCausland, and the folks they try to figure out. Oh, and you got the 170 exit too.
Yep.
And so
Bellevue and
Bellevue and folks should be thinking, hey, if I'm not getting off at any of these, I should stay on the left side so that all those folks can handle it on the right.
Oh, going on to the Big Bend exit from 64. It's
That's pretty messy because you
It's
got folks from
messy.
Hanley and Brentwood
Right.
mixing in there, and then you've got to try to get over to get off at Big Bend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hear you.
But that's my St. Louis way to get on the naughty list.
One thing that could make that worse, getting stuck behind the slow driver in the middle lane, is if that slow driver is also toking, because you're gonna be catching that straight line of smoke, the secondhand weed smoke, as they're tweaking on the wacky tobacco there.
Smelling sweet.
Righty right says riding a motorcycle on the highway like you're in a video game.
Oh gosh,
oh
yes.
yeah,
Oh,
the little crotch rockets.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I've seen that a lot.
Zooming in and out. Yep. Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So that's my way. I mean, another way. I mean, there's the obvious ones like wearing Chicago Cubs apparel.
Yeah, it's clearly
You
a
don't
St.
wanna
Louis
do-
naughty
you
list.
don't wanna do
Clearly
that.
a St. Louis.
Yeah,
naughty
you're
list.
taking your
Yes.
life in your hands.
Yes. Improperly breading the toasted raff.
Let me
look.
give you an interesting naughty one, because this is something that probably no one has encountered before. But we were at a high school hockey game, Webster Grove's hockey game last week, and our niece had a friend in from London. First hockey game she had ever seen, and our nephew got, I think, a 5-minute penalty. So he goes 5 minutes. Yeah, not a 2-minute. Got a
What?
5 minute. He
Did
could have
he-
gotten a 10.
Did he steal the carburetor of the other kid? What happened?
He stole the car, but he didn't
Yeah.
swear at all.
Oh,
So
geez.
had he thrown in a few choice words, it would have been a 10-minute misconduct.
Oh
but
my gosh.
he goes off the ice, and our friend from England turns around and goes, "Why is he going in the naughty corner?"
The naughty corner.
That's the first time I ever heard that.
Oh my god.
Well, some call it the sin bin.
The sin
Yeah.
bin. Yes, I've
That's
heard that one.
5 minutes?
5-minute penalty.
I mean, you only get 4 for robbing a bank.
Did he take a skate to somebody's throat or something?
I mean,
Was-
my
No,
goodness.
no.
Jeez.
I'm guessing. I think it was probably a check in the corner that was a little too high. I think the ref figured, no, you can't. I can't let you get away with that.
A little too
Yeah.
egregious.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And Henry's got a bit of an attitude on the ice, so I'll admit to that, and he'll admit to it too. But he's tried to control himself.
Oh man.
Now, I will admit to a particular St. Louis naughty thing in that I am not a fan of Provel cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cop to that too.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
Me three.
if I'll go to Emo's and get pasta, get their great toasted rav. I don't get the St.
Provel
Louis
cheese.
style Provel pizza. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
You know, I mean,
I can do thin crust. I'm not
Yeah,
a particular fan
I
of
don't
thin
mind
crust,
yeah.
but the Provel, it just doesn't work for me. Now, it's pizza. I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if you give me free Emo's, I'm gonna eat it.
But there are St. Louisans who get defensive over it.
Yeah, Provel is not. That's not good cheese.
See, but I think
It's
that
not.
if you get them onto the side and go, come on, really, you know, right?
You know Provel
They'll
cheese isn't.
admit it. It's
You
like
know
not even-
mozzarella's
it's
better than
not even
Provel.
real cheese. That didn't come from a cow.
That's not a thing.
No, that's gain of function cheese.
Gain of
Straight
I don't
from
even-
Wisconsin.
I don't even know what that is.
It was funded in the omnibus bill.
All right. Still ahead here, just in about 30 seconds or so. Will Biden give a pardon to the boy who cried wolf? Larry Connors is about to address that right here. 1019 941 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com.
Believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend. Let's see how
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
we could turn 10 o'clock, but I don't really know. And I can't remember Kevin for an hour or so. Started crying and I couldn't stop myself. I started running, but there's nowhere to run to.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After a chilly start, we've got a decent warm-up for you today, up to 49 degrees this afternoon, under mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. But tonight, a cold front swings through, brings a shot of colder air along with it. 28 for the low Friday morning, but only climbing to 35 tomorrow afternoon. And with a stiff northwest wind chills in the teens tomorrow morning and 20s tomorrow afternoon. We'll keep it dry, though, all the way through the weekend. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
John Beal knows that new roofing companies can look big and trustworthy on the internet, but the fact is, 96% of new roofing companies go out of business within the first 5 years. John Beal has a reputation for excellence, reliability, plus lowest cost, best roof, best guarantee. Those here today, gone tomorrow roofers, they can't match John Beal. For home or business, trust my friend John. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Larry Connor's commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit vincentsjewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
We all know the story of the boy who cried wolf, seeking attention, shouting he saw a wolf. Many would surround him, praise him. But despite his repeated efforts to find a wolf, no one could find one. And then they realized there is no wolf. The kid is lying. Enter ABC's littlest anchor, George Stephanopoulos. His company paying $16 million to Donald Trump after George called Trump a convicted rapist. The New York Post reports George is really upset. Kind of reminds me of George Costanza in Seinfeld. George is getting upset. Well, the Post says sources inside ABC News report George is humiliated and also defiant. In other words, he sees nothing wrong with calling Trump a rapist. Why not? He's Trump. We can say anything about him. So he thought. Maybe even cry out wolf if he wants to. Maybe George should go to Biden asking for a pardon so he doesn't have to apologize. Biden can sign that along with the immunity he's giving Moderna and Pfizer for the COVID drugs. In the meantime, what about a pardon for the boy who cried wolf?
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Hi, I'm Rodney Wallner.
And I'm Jen Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Jen, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission plan?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What's the best time to sell your home?
Right now, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
What happens next?
The outcome of this election is not what we wanted.
Happens right here.
My entire administration worked with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Arps this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning.
The secret side of me, I never let you see. I keep it caged, but I can't control it. So stay away from me.
All right. I want to make some clarifications. We were trying to figure out what was happening with the budget situation because Sam Page made a threat to the county council in St. Louis County. Basically, give me what I want in the budget or the old people get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going through the local news coverage of this because I was not at the meeting. And it turns out I got really confused. Got a couple things right, but a couple things wrong on this. So I want to make sure that we all have the right understanding of that. So we're going to get to that here in just a second. Also, did Sam Page, either directly or through a subordinate, try to abuse his office by telling somebody else to abuse their office? the claim being made is pretty bombshell that happened this week here. 7:38 right now. Don't forget, we've got News Talk STL's podcast on demand listening. You're got something going on in the morning, want to catch that hour that you missed, you can do it. Any of these interviews that we do, easy to get them and send them to your friends and family and say, hey, check this out. Here's the truth of the matter that we're talking about. Joined now by St. Louis County Councilman Mark Harder. Mark, I want to start with this budget thing. Then I want to get to this statement that Melissa Price Smith made, because you were involved in that conversation here. But we were talking about the budget, and we were commenting that there were reports that said when Sam Page was basically saying, give me the budget that I want, or else we're going to slow down the senior property tax freeze to a trickle. It looked like he was trying to basically strong arm you into giving him the budget and rushing through it. And then we're seeing reports that say that the actual budget itself basically showed up right before or right after the meeting time started. And some media is writing that you all didn't even get a chance to read it and you voted on something you didn't know what was in it. What's the actual truth?
Well, good morning, guys. Well, the actual truth is that was misreported. First off, we've had the budget since October 1st, I believe, or 2nd. And so we've been dealing with this budget. We met with all the department heads. We went department by department. We tried to find where we could savings or mismanagement, things like that. We went through that. What was communicated at the last minute is the changes to the budget on about 6 different departments. So we had passed a lot of the budget the night or the week before, because the budget is divided into budget bills, about 25 budget bills. So we had passed probably 75% of it the week before. So that was done. The last 5 or 6 budget bills were the biggest and where most of the money is spent in St. Louis County. So we made a lot of changes, the weekend before, the day before, hours before. And that's why probably 3 of the 7 council members didn't get it until, about a half hour, 45 minutes before the meeting to basically go over the numbers that we had at that point. So it was unfortunate. I wish it didn't happen that way, but we were under a gun to get these things done because, as you mentioned, the Page administration put all this pressure on us at the last minute that we had to pass this budget last Tuesday, or the seniors would not get their concierge service of people helping them at all the various locations around the county. And so we had this hanging over us. I think the Page administration wanted people to be upset about it, so they would call their council people and say, pass this budget because we don't want to lose our senior tax credit. Well, there was never any issue of losing it. It was about losing the contract for the temporary people that help people fill out their paperwork at various locations around the county. So that's where it was. It was communicated in a way to drum up some kind of emotion among our seniors, which is just despicable, in my opinion, for this. And he's used this senior tax credit as a whip for a lot of our people in this region.
Morning, Mark. Gabe here. So I understand that there were some last-minute additions to the spending bill, or at least some adjustments made, and some of those were to help corral some of the outrageous things that Sam Page was looking to accomplish with this bill. Could you tell us exactly what was going on there?
Sure. We went back through these 6 or so budget bills and started cutting. So there wasn't anything added. We were taking away from his proposed budget. And so we took roughly about $60 million away from him to spend in the coming year. And there's some net back and forth. So at the end of the day, it was probably about a $30 million cut to the original budget he proposed back in October. And we can't be, we've come to this realization, and we've been on this track for a while, is that we were about to hit the wall. We were going to use up all of our rainy day funds to keep balancing budgets. And now we're out of money. And we're even going to cut some more, I think, in the coming year. We need to really trim down the size of government in St. Louis County, or we have to push for more revenue. And pushing for more revenue, i.e. taxes, that's not very popular. So, and probably both needs to happen. But I have argued for years that we've got to cut down the size of government, the spending appetite of government, and then let's talk about revenue on the other side. But once the spending has been cut, then let's do something else. And for over 9 years, we could never get through 2 administrations. We could never shrink the size of government to a point where it was a realistic spend going forward. So hopefully this time around, we've shook some people up over this, and hopefully we can start on a path of shrinking St. Louis County government.
Well, considering that the county population has decreased, it should be kind of obvious that the government needs to decrease as well.
It should, and I think over the years we've had a lot of mismanagement. We've had wrong priorities on certain issues. I think we need to spread some of the cost of county government over the county more evenly. And so we've got a lot of right sizing that needs to be done in the next year. And this is just, it's just gotten ridiculous. And it started even before. It started with the Dooley administration, then went to Stanger, and then to Page. And nobody could ever take the political heat and reduce the size of government. It was always an increase. But I think the winds are changing out there, and people realize that we've maxed out on what we're going to pay for government moving forward.
All right, we're just a little bit short on time here, but I got to ask you about this. You had the 2 picks for county prosecutor, and the county council has made it pretty clear that you're not interested in Court Van Ostrin, Sam Page's pick. The courts will decide whether the governor's going to pick or Sam Page nominates, but we'll see how that goes. But Melissa Price Smith, who the governor wants to appoint to that role, when she was being questioned with you all, and here's a clip from the conversation when you were asking the questions, she made a very explosive accusation against the office of Sam Page. Here's what she had to say. Let me play this real quick.
I received a phone call from someone on behalf of Dr. Page asking me to find dirt on Mike Archer.
Mike Archer.
The new council member.
Okay.
Who will take his seat in January. I informed the caller that I had never worked with Mike Archer because he had worked in the prosecutor's office. I told them I had no dirt on Mike Archer, and that it was my understanding that he quit years before I began. I received a call 2 days later from the same person on behalf of Dr. Page instructing me to try harder. And we never spoke again.
Okay, so what you've got here is, if what she's saying is true, either Sam Page, through a subordinate or somehow indirectly, was instructing somebody in another part of the government to abuse their office to try to find a way to defeat a Republican candidate for county council. Am I understanding that right? And if so, did she name names?
No, she did not name names. I pressed her on that. You could tell if you watch the video, and I encourage all your listeners to watch the video. It's on our St. Louis County website. She was very uncomfortable about this interaction, and this interaction happened twice in the meeting. You can watch it and see her statement in both segments. But no, this is somebody that was actually asked before she was even a candidate for prosecuting attorney, because she was asked maybe in September, October of this past year, prior to the general election, for this dirt on a candidate for council. And so you could tell she's very uncomfortable about expressing it. We don't know if this is someone inside the administration or outside the administration. She did not want to divulge it at this time. But I think if the media in this town were any good, they would find a way of finding who this person is. And I'm probably pretty sure. I got a feeling of who it could be, but I'm not going to say anything, of course, in public, and I could be totally wrong. But I hope the media in this town could find this out. It would be helpful, and be helpful for her to get rid of this burden off of her, and this mismanagement and ethical ridiculousness of the Page administration. And it's happened before in different forms, but this is the first time it's come out in a public setting like this with a prosecutor, a sitting prosecutor, being asked to find dirt on a political candidate in St. Louis County. This makes Chicago look like Disneyland.
Yeah, I mean, this is
to these things.
Yeah, because if this is true, this is a massive abuse of political power and abuse of the office. If what she's saying is true. All right, Mark Harder, St. Louis County Council. Man, appreciate you being back on here. Chances are we're probably not going to have you back on the show until after Christmas, being next week. So have a Merry Christmas, and we will talk to you again, I'm sure, within the next couple weeks or so.
Merry Christmas, Mark.
Sounds good, guys. Merry Christmas to all of you and all the listeners of your great station.
All right, thanks, Mark. All right, 314-912-1019. Just ahead here, because we will do a survey about anything.
Mm-hmm.
What are the best things to put on top of your Christmas tree?
Oh, on the top, the very top. Okay.
The very top. There were some unique answers.
Okay.
That came through there.
All right.
I want to know yours. Let me know on social media right here on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL.
Can't control it, so stay away from me. The beast is ugly. I feel the rage and I just can't hold it. It's scratching on the wall.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL.
Control it.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Why won't somebody come and save me from this? Make it in. I feel it deep within. It's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I've become. The nightmare's just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster.
Hello, Tim Jones here with Eric from Newsteaders Fine Jewelers. Eric, your diamonds are so fantastic at Newsteaders. You named the website after them, wowdiamonds.com. Tell us about Wow Diamonds.
Well, we picked that name because when people look at the diamonds, they all exclaim the same thing. Everybody says, wow. And nobody can spell Newsteaders, so we figured Wow Diamonds would definitely be good tagline, and it's very accurate. We actually introduced the lab-grown diamond to our St. Louis family, and we're the exclusive home of the trademarked Wow Diamond. It's the most perfectly cut and polished diamond you'll ever experience, and we can fit one into anyone's budget. The thing that's nice about them is they're significantly less expensive than a mined diamond, and of course the artwork is in the cutting and polishing. That's where you get the beauty in the diamond, and that's what we excel at.
Newsteaders, a St. Louis jewelry tradition since 1961. Stop by and find out why. 2961 Daughtery Ferry Road, or on the internet, wowdiamonds.com for Newsteaders Fine Jewelers.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9, right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com.
Danny Define here with the Next Gen, all new time at this Sunday at 8 p.m. Now pour up a hot cup of coffee and tune back into the Mike Ferguson Show.
Are you a child who's on Santa's naughty list, but you did nothing wrong?
Have you been falsely accused of not eating your vegetables, staying up past your bedtime, or spending your allowance on gum?
The law offices of Smith, Smythe, and Schmidt want to help.
We won't rest until Santa is checking his list thrice.
But wait, our team of legal experts won't just get you on the nice list.
We'll figure out a way to get your dumb little sister, who you wish was never born, on the naughty list.
After all, Santa needs to blame someone for butchering Barbie's hair.
And if mommy's coupon scissors don't fit,
you must acquit. Call the law offices of Smith, Smythe, and Schmidt today.
Because the only thing sweeter than candy in your stocking
is a lump of coal in your dumb little sisters.
I can hear the piggy banks being smashed as we speak of the little boys wanting to retain their services.
Speaking of boys, Kathy wanted me to just let folks know, because Henry has his reputation to maintain. When he went into the naughty corner during that game, he informed, quote unquote, the referee that his calls were questionable, quote unquote. That's what gave him a few extra minutes in the naughty corner.
I see.
Okay, that'll do it. All right.
Excuse me, sir. I would like to provide some supplementary information to you regarding the performance of your duties.
Which are very questionable.
I'm going to try that during the season. Hey, Blue, I know you're a good guy, but I question your optometrist performance.
Yeah.
All right. What do you have on top of your Christmas tree here?
On the tippy top
of the Christmas tree. What do you have? Goat Lady, she says she answered real fast on this angel. She's got an angel on top of the tree. What about you all?
A star gleaming in the night.
Yep, same here. We have a star.
Yeah, we've got a star on ours as well. So there was a poll done, because why not? That's what we do here.
Yeah.
45% of Americans say it's a star, some kind of star.
Sure.
21% angel.
Okay.
Those were the most conventional toppers. And then there was 11% of people said something else, whatever it is.
Something else.
6% of people have nothing on top of the Christmas tree.
Okay, that's sacrilege.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with you. It's like, I don't know what that's. What's the equivalent of not having the top of on your tree?
I don't know.
It's something though. It's like it seems naked up there.
Right. So there was a conversation online where people talked about alternative toppers.
Okay.
For your Christmas tree. Some of these are pretty clever.
All right.
Okay. So like a bow. I've seen that.
Oh, I've seen the bow.
That doesn't look bad. It's all right.
Yeah.
A snowflake.
Okay, I've seen the snowflake, which is kind of equivalent to a star. It's got multi-point, bright, shiny thing.
This one is weird for me.
Okay.
A Rudolph head. I don't. To me, that's like a trophy. Like, look, I hunted and shot Rudolph.
Yeah,
I mounted him on my Christmas.
That's like a kamikaze deer.
Kamikaze deer head. That's exactly what I was thinking, though. Is like, okay, that's a hunter's house. That guy's got an antler chandelier somewhere on his residence.
the Revenge of Stealth.
Yes.
A Santa hat. I mean, okay, I guess
it's something better than nothing.
Yeah. Somebody said a letter with their last name's initial on top of the
like
tree.
just a big.
If you're Smith, S.
Yeah, big S.
Right, on there. Let's see here.
It's a little self-indulgent to me.
I have no idea why somebody said they would put a turkey puppet on top of their Christmas tree.
A turkey puppet.
That's got to be somebody trolling
a
it here.
Turkey puppet.
Yeah. I sent you a picture of this one.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda Yoda from Star Wars, and then they took fishing wire and they strung the actual topper, and it looks like he's making it float there.
Yeah,
that was pretty clever.
That was cute. Yeah,
I actually sent that to Gabe, and I'm like, is this yours? Is this your tree?
Not this year.
No,
maybe next year.
Get this one. This one surprised me here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said that they put the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings on top of their Christmas tree.
I believe that. It's sacrilege, but I believe it.
Would probably it's a conversation starter. Let's put it that way.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Hey there, Chris Cooper here. Join me every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on News Talk STL for a little fun with finance. We'll talk about taxes, the economy, finance, and most importantly, how to enjoy the lifestyle you deserve.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper, Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Tune in on Sunday and visit serenitynowtax.com for your free copy of my book, The New Holistic Retirement. That's serenitynowtax.com.
Serenity Now! KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House. Congressional lawmakers are scrambling after President-elect Donald Trump rejected a bipartisan stopgap measure to prevent a government shutdown.
It was already going to be a heavy lift for Republicans and Democrats to come together on a bill that would avoid a shutdown before midnight Friday, as well as provide $100 billion in disaster aid and $10 billion in economic relief for farmers. But that heavy lift got much more difficult on Wednesday when President-elect Donald Trump came out against the bill.
That's correspondent Kevin Frecking reporting. Israel's defense minister warns Yemen's Houthi rebels against attacks.
Israel's defense minister says the country would not allow the continuation of shooting from Yemen's Houthi rebels, hours after Israel launched heavy airstrikes on rebel sites. Israel Katz adds, I suggest the leaders of the Houthi organization to see, to understand and remember, whoever raises a hand against the state of Israel has a hand that will be cut off. Whoever harms us will be harmed sevenfold back. The statement follows a series of intense Israeli strikes that shook Yemen's capital and a port city shortly after a Houthi missile targeted central Israel and badly damaged a school building. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The suspect charged with shooting to death a health insurance company executive on a Manhattan street is attending hearings on related Pennsylvania criminal charges and efforts to extradite him to New York. Luigi Mangione faces a preliminary hearing on forgery and firearms charges and consideration of a fugitive from justice complaint. The UK central bank is keeping interest rates on hold as inflation moves further above its target rate. On Wall Street, Dow futures are up 312 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Attention American homeowners, you're under attack. Your home and equity could be vulnerable to cyber thieves. There's only one company that completely stops them, and that company is Equity Protect. Equity Protect prevents any attempts to steal your home, equity, and ownership 24/7. Get your free risk report today by texting the word HOME to 94878. That's right, text the word HOME to 94878 to get your free risk report. Keep your equity and legacy.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After a chilly start, we've got a decent warm-up for you today, up to 49 degrees this afternoon, under mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. But tonight, a cold front swings through, brings a shot of colder air along with it. 28 for the low Friday morning, but only climbing to 35 tomorrow afternoon. And with a stiff northwest wind chills in the teens tomorrow morning and 20s tomorrow afternoon. We'll keep it dry, though, all the way through the weekend. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Senior Memorial. With the average funeral bill being over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Call 314-866-8886 or memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
Tony Colombo here for the cleaning pros at Zero Res, the team we trust with keeping our home clean and healthy. And the folks at Zero Res know how important it is to you to have a clean, healthy home this holiday season. And that's why they have this great offer for you right now. Book a cleaning with Zero Res and mention the Colombo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Again, just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020 or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
Mike Ferguson.
Are you pretending to be crazy? Wow, you're really pumped about this.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
The best answer to the toxicity of the left is the truth.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
In the Rumble chat box, the conversation about the Christmas tree toppers, stars seem to be stars and angels.
Yes.
Seem to be the most popular ones.
Jay Monty, I'm sorry, go ahead, Gabe.
I just said it because it's standard.
Yeah.
Jay Monty made a comment about getting the one for the top of their tree from Sears.
Oh,
that's going back a way.
That's right. Yeah.
I went to Sears and maybe EJ Corvette.
Sears and Roebuck for those of us who actually no, don't get it.
What was the worst thing that you remember from your Christmas? Because I'm going back to like the 70s, and I remember some of the horrible plastic decorations. Like I remember we had a Christmas tree when I was a kid in Decatur, Illinois, and it was this plastic angel, and it was like 70s. Probably got it at Kmart. Kind of thing,
or Ventures,
yeah, Ventures.
Oh wow!
And it had a light bulb on it, and then the wire went up in the plastic thing, and you could barely stay on the tree. And it was really popular. It was this painted angel, plastic painted angel. And I'm looking back now, and I'm like, first of all, how did that thing not melt with that light bulb? And 2, how did it not burn the house down?
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember when I was a kid, my parents would always get kind of a smallish real tree, and my mom loved tinsel. So
tinsel, yes.
She just put tinsel literally all over the tree.
You were vacuuming that up until like
until July 4th.
Until like St. Patrick's Day or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're not talking about the tinsel garland. We're talking about the handfuls of little tiny silvery strings.
Oh, we had the tinsel. Yeah, we had the tinsel garland.
Yeah.
And even that was terrible.
Oh, yeah. Well, it sheds. It sheds some fierce. But yeah, if you had the kind that you actually have to throw onto the tree, and then now try cleaning it off to recapture. No.
Terrible,
it's terrible.
But that's why you have the blanket underneath the tree.
That's what the blanket is for.
So when you take the tree down, you just throw everything all together.
And somebody mentioned, like, I don't remember who it was, but they said they can't because their cats pull the tree down. We're lucky. Our cats couldn't care less about the tree, other than, like I just said on the Rumble chat box, Rosie's annoyed by it because she wants to jump up on the windowsill and look outside,
and it's in the way. Yeah.
So yours never punch any of the ornaments?
We've just been lucky.
Boy, Beauregard had a wicked left hook, and he would come out of nowhere and just kind of bat the ones that were close enough near the floor, and eventually Kathy would have to move the tree further up. But man, Bo had a great left hook.
Our kitties they would make the attempts for a little while, but then they got used to it. But we do have a really, really cute picture of our at least our surviving cat Sassy. She climbed up into the tree while we were putting it up and just sat there.
Oh my!
She was just sitting in the on like one of the branches or something, just looking out over her domain, I suppose. And it's freaking adorable. So we took a picture.
That's funny. All right, here's what's going on. Is some news here. Looks like we might get our government shut down for Christmas.
Yay!
We're hoping. We are hoping. And well, what else we got going on here? Oh yeah, who asked a St. Louis County prosecuting attorney to find dirt on a Republican candidate? I want to mention this at least one more time today because I want this in the public eye. We just talked to Mark Harder about it about a half an hour ago, but I want to make sure this stays in the conversation here. Let's go ahead and dump some news on you.
The morning news dump. Are you joking? Is this a joke? Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
We're going to get some specifics here in about 30 minutes from Phil Kerpen from American Commitment. But there's now back to the drawing board with less than 24 hours to go. Lawmakers in Washington, D.C., they didn't get a deal. They did not get a deal on a spending plan. So what happens is, as of midnight Friday going into Saturday, authorization for the government to keep spending money in many areas, not all of them, the way that the apocalyptic talk says, but it runs out, and then there's a partial government shutdown.
Oh, no.
Who cares?
So sad, so scary.
Yeah. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says House Republicans broke the bipartisan agreement, and he says this is on them.
Will now own any harm that is visited upon the American people that results from a government shutdown or worse.
Yeah. So first of all, once again, I'm going to, for the third time today, lay out the challenge here. Show me somebody harmed by the federal government shutdown over a failed continuing resolution.
Oh no.
Show me.
The government shutdown.
Introduce me to that person who was harmed.
Yes. Like actually harmed.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
And if it's a government worker
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
furloughed, they don't count because
No.
they don't matter.
No, they honestly don't.
They don't matter.
Yes, because most of them should not have jobs in the federal government.
If you want to, and somebody says, well, they have a job, they have a family, don't you care about them? I do not. Because if they wanted to make more of an honest living, then they would go into the private sector and they would do it. Not that all government jobs are wasteful or whatever, but most of them are. So
most of them are, yes.
And part of what you sign up for is basically it's almost impossible to fire you, a ridiculous benefits package, and you're going to ride the ups and downs of politics.
Right.
That's just the way it goes.
Absolutely.
So Senator Josh Hawley, once again, was on Hannity on Fox last night.
Sitting in his monogram chair.
Yeah, we're sitting in his regular Hannity Hawley chair. And here's part of his reaction.
House Republicans will now own
Nope.
any
That's
harm.
Hakeem. Oh, that's
that
Hakeem
is
Jeffries.
visited.
Sorry, here's Senator Josh Hawley here. Sorry, I was looking at the next copy already. Here's what Senator Hawley had to say.
It is a total travesty. This has got to change, Sean. I mean, we cannot go on like this. And I hope the Republican leadership gets the message here, the message of this election, which is that people want change. They don't want this garbage.
Okay, now I've got a few other stories to get to, but something dawned on me as I was kind of prepping for today. First of all, when you look at some of the things that have been put into this thing that Speaker Mike Johnson said, all right, let's just get this done, go through. There's some really horrible stuff in there.
Oh, gosh. Yes.
Terrible stuff. And it was basically presented like, listen, guys, we can't have a shutdown right before we take, that sort of thing. But here's what else dawned on me is that this kind of garbage is exactly why Donald Trump was elected with the mandate that he was, because of this. And some Republicans got very swampy in trying to allow this to go through, because basically a bunch of leftists put in a bunch of non-related garbage left-wing stuff at the last minute just to try to shove it through. This is exactly a huge part of the reason that the election turned out the way that it did.
Exactly. And it seems as though they didn't realize that had happened. They went to business as usual to try to get the CR passed. They threw in all their pork. According to Vivek Ramaswamy's calculation, for every dollar that would have been authorized just to continue business as usual in Washington, they added 65 cents of new spending on top of that.
Yeah.
So increasing the amount of this thing by
2/3,
like 2/3, just swelling it for no good reason.
Yeah.
And the people said, okay, we used to kind of laugh this stuff off and just kind of look at the pork list that, from this year. It's like, oh, that's silly that we're funding shrimp research or whatever into their dating preferences.
Really.
But no, this election says we don't want this bull crap anymore. We're not going to take this.
So 8:35, we've got Phil Kerpen from American Commitment going to be with us and go into some of the details on this. All right. Melissa Smith is the assistant prosecuting attorney that Governor Parson wants to appoint to replace Wesley Bell once he is sworn into Congress. And she was meeting with the county council a little bit earlier this week and made, frankly, kind of a bombshell accusation while she was discussing the prosecutor's role at that meeting.
I received a phone call from someone on behalf of Dr. Page asking me to find dirt on Mike Archer.
Mike Archer.
The new council member who will take his seat in January. I informed the caller that I had never worked with Mike Archer because he had worked in the prosecutor's office. I told them I had no dirt on Mike Archer and that it was my understanding that he quit years before I began. I received a call 2 days later from the same person on behalf of Dr. Page instructing me to try harder. And we never spoke again.
Okay, so she has not named names on this. If what she is saying is true, this would be, even by Sam Page standards, a phenomenal abuse of his office.
Yeah.
If any of this is related to him. Of course, Sam Page office put out a statement to media saying, we have no idea what you're talking about. No clue. We have no idea, And so there's nothing confirmed, and she won't name names. I wish that she would. So we can get to the bottom of it. If that happened, that is, I got to think that's a crime. Mike Archer did win that seat, and he's going to be a county council member starting in January.
Yeah, I would think that the attempted use of an office of public trust, for the purpose of serving an election is illegal. I'm wondering if she can be compelled to give up that name.
If she were subpoenaed for it, there's no attorney-client privilege there. I would think so.
All right.
So Andrew Bailey, do your thing, man.
Get at it.
All right. If your last-minute Amazon purchase does not make it on time, who are you going to blame? Thousands of Amazon workers around the country go on strike against Amazon, demanding more money, more benefits, and different, safer working conditions. They are upset with Amazon's refusal to negotiate with the union that they voted to join. One worker at a facility in Queens says he just wants some appreciation.
We need them to sit down and negotiate with us. We're not asking for too much. We're just asking for a negotiation. It's just respect, recognition. We do this job every day.
Yeah. Okay. So respect me while I try to ruin somebody else's holiday season. The Teamsters president, Sean O'Brien, he says, if you don't get your Christmas stuff and part of your Christmas is ruined, well, blame Amazon's insatiable greed instead of a targeted strike designed to hurt you. And that's what we're seeing from these unions, the Longshoremen's union a little bit earlier, and then now Amazon's the union with Amazon. They want to hurt you and expect you to rally to their side,
right,
on this slime ball stuff. It's slime ball
gross
stuff. It really is. So if this ends up disrupting the gifts getting on time, you did your order, Amazon's process was working, blame the union types that decided to target you and then turn around and demand that you rally to their side.
I'm calling Ghostbusters. See if they can help me.
That's right. All right. The Blues start a 3-game road trip tonight in Florida. First in that road trip is a game against the Lightning tonight in Tampa Bay. Puck drops at 6:00 our time for that one. Blues are right at 500, even 15-15-3 right now, while the Lightning come into the game a 17-10-2.
Don't try to make me stop. No inspiration. You have a soul so dark, it is no more.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL.
To fight your war. Stop it right now.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Your indifferent. Stop it right now before you blow us all away. You want to do that? Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin.
Hey, Tim Jones here with a reminder. Winter is the perfect time to obtain an expert evaluation of all your trees, shrubs, your biggest assets for safety, health, or maybe even removal. Hanson's Tree Service, locally owned and operated, not only can consult with you on the exact services you need, but during the winter months, you might even save more money. Keep their emergency number handy in case you need it. Emergency removal anytime over the winter months. Hanson's Tree Service, 636-379-1830, hansonstree.com. That's hansonstree.com.
Hey, how you doing? Santa Vic here.
And Santa's head Vic head here.
Right. And you can win some great prizes with News Talk STL's St. Louis Conservative Christmas.
You forgot the ho-ho-ho. You forgot the ho-ho-ho.
Oh!
No, ho-ho.
Oh!
A St. Louis Conservative Christmas. Log on to newstalkstl.com for your chance to win. Brought to you by Woods and Stonefire, Tropical World Pets, El Morelia Supermercado, and Metro Shooting Supplies.
Oh!
Tony Colombo here, reminding you to visit my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton before your next trip into the great outdoors. For decades, Bluff City Outdoors has covered all the needs for area fishermen, and they'll always have all the best bait, tackle, and gear for your next trip on the water. And now they cover all your bow hunting needs, including their state-of-the-art indoor archery range and techno hunt system, open every day for you to come shoot, or you can join a league. Follow Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook and learn more at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
St. Louis's place to talk.
Freedom of speech is one of the anchors of our society.
News Talk STL.
Hey, this is Larry Connors. Make sure you're listening later today at 6 o'clock on News Talk STL for my show, Larry Connors USA. Now, back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Just to look at that girl with the lights coming up in her eyes.
Getting a lot of conversation on cats and Christmas trees right now in Rumble.
It's universal.
Yeah. Let me kind of, and I'm just looking at Rumble. You guys are seeing some of the other comments here. Amy, I love this, Amy. She says, poor Mark Harder. I don't know how he stays safe on the county council.
I can kind of just see him sitting there at the table, like just with his head in his hands, just trying to just shake. He's like, I don't even know what is happening.
Yeah,
right
send
now.
in reinforcements.
Yeah, please.
Mike Archer, who just got elected, I was chatting with him last week, and I got to tell you, he's fired up. So reinforcements are on the way. Dennis Hancock's really, solid as well for the most part. But you remember Tim Fitch was on there and was a real thorn in the side of Sam Page because Tim Fitch brought the receipts. And so what happened was they literally redistricted the district. They redistricted him out of his district. They redrew the lines and moved him out of his district.
Right.
So he was out. That's one way to do it. Some other things that said here, 101 straight up. She says, I suspect many government workers couldn't hold a private sector job. That's probably true.
Yeah, absolutely.
That really is probably true.
Yep. They wouldn't get hired.
Rizon, to that end, also says the government can't let the people know how much we don't need them. Yeah.
Yep. Linda Bailey wanted to weigh in on the Christmas tree stuff with the tinsel. Because I was talking about the tinsel.
That's right.
That's
I saw people because they would like drop it and it was like supposed to be like little icicle type thing.
Just kind of hanging off. Yeah. Apparently in their house, her dad wanted to save the tinsel every year. So you had to pull off.
Golly, that's a lot of work.
and you got to separate it from all the needles that they're pulling up in your head.
No. See, I would even go as far when my folks, before my parents retired, my dad pastored a little church in a little town called Emporia, Kansas. And you know, they had a nice house there, but they would use the same lights on the house. And so my brother and I would go down there and we would do the you know, kind of the thing where if the weather was good on Thanksgiving, we'd have Thanksgiving. Then that Friday after Thanksgiving, my brother and I had to get up on the roof and do all the lights and put it everywhere.
Yep.
And then the worst part of this was going through these big bins in their garage, trying to untangle the lights.
Oh, the untangling of the lights.
Yes.
And then did you also have the light check and repair
Yes.
portion?
Like, okay, we've got these little Ziploc bag. You can take this one. The lights are like $4 a strand.
Just get another strand. Just get a new strand.
I was thinking at one point, I'm like, Dad, why don't at the end of every Christmas, you just throw them in a big trash bag, get rid of them, and then spend $30 next year and get new ones.
Right.
And then we don't have to sit there, and I'm trying not to cuss in front of my Baptist preacher dad, untangling these stupid things that you've had since the Reagan administration.
Now I've got one of those. It's a big circle basically that I wrap the lights around.
Right.
So it keeps them safe, keeps them from tangling and things like that, and it makes it easy to check because once with the end just kind of sitting there, you plug the whole thing in, and you see, okay, are all the lights on? Yeah, we're good. If not, I will admit, I used to go hunting. I used to go hunting for that light that was out.
Yeah,
no more.
Because it used to be if one went out, they all went out.
Yeah.
Now, if one goes out, it just goes out.
Yeah, they've kind of improved the technology there, and of course with LED lights, it's gotten a bit better too. But I don't do that. If the lights are if enough of those lights are out or something like that, I'm just getting a new strand.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I mean, and Rachel is big about decorating inside the house. But we've only got a little bit outside. Part of it is just because the way our house is. It's our house is hard. We couldn't do like outlining the whole house just the way the house is.
I mean, besides the shape of your house, the fact that it sits on the crest of a really, really steep hill, makes it. I would not get on a ladder in the front of your house to do anything.
No. Well, and now we've got that new roofing that's basically it looks like Spanish tile, but it's actually a light concrete.
Yeah.
So I'm not standing up there.
Oh, no. And you're not attaching anything to it or anything like that. No.
So we have the lights that you see from the tree, and then you see a little over our porch. And then our gazebo actually looks kind of cool.
You go.
I always grumble about doing it, but it does look nice. So she's right about that.
She's right. Okay.
I'm always fascinated by families who do a really snazzy job in their backyards.
Yeah, in the back,
which it looks great, but it's kind of hard to see.
It's only for you.
That's
unless you're doing like you're hosting the party. But yeah, you can't see our gazebo from the street.
Right.
We and we've got the party lights around the porch or the patio in the back, but that looks nice. But those are up year round.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, from the street, you're not going to.
But you guys do host the party, so it makes sense.
And I think that if our house were amenable to it, I think Rachel would make me bling out the whole house.
Oh gosh, yes.
I mean, she would,
knowing Rachel, yes.
Oh, she would want to bling out the whole thing.
Every post would be wrapped in some sort of woodsy thing and lights.
She's like, okay, we're gonna go. She goes into what I call Rachel go mode, which is like just brace yourself because I'm about to get a list. That's when I start with like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. I don't know. I don't feel so good.
Feeling a little under the weather all
of a sudden. Yeah. Exactly. call your 20-year-old son.
There you go.
Maybe he can
works in construction.
Yeah, precisely. So all right, 8:26 right now. Okay, so real quick thing. I just want to note this here.
Yeah.
And I found this at Red State. I found this at MRC TV as well. Disney has been for years now going off the deep end, and they have simply, and we found this with the Chris Rufo videos that he exposed 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that, where the creative team admitted that they were trying to embed LGBT indoctrination into Disney programming.
Yes,
we knew that was happening.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the not so secret gay agenda video,
and that's, by the way, their words.
That's their quote from that video. Yeah. Yes, it was a video conference that they were having.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at an article that Brittany Hughes wrote for MRC TV, and then you can also go to Red State, and I forgot who wrote the article at Red State, but they're both reporting on the same thing: is that there was a show that was a cartoon aimed at little children that was going to be on Disney Plus starting in February, called Win or Lose. And apparently one of the main themes of this show is one of the characters who is so-called trans, a boy who's pretending to be a girl, and they were going to present this as you will accept this person as a girl, and you have a gender confused, mentally ill young man, 18 years old, who's voicing it because that's how he lives his life. And he's very upset because after apparently word got out about this, Disney is now pulling back, and they are the character is still there, but they're changing, basically some of the storyline, and they're de-emphasizing this, and they're not, referencing quote unquote gender identity and all of this thing, but they're still leaving the pervert character in there.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, media's trying to be real sympathetic to this voice actor whose name is, I don't know what his real name is, but he goes by Chanel Stewart. So this is an 18-year-old young man who
goes by
claims to be a woman. And so he's quoted as saying, "It's just that my character would now be a cis girl, a straight cis girl. So yeah, that's all they really told me, that I was still part of the show. I'm very disheartened. From the moment I got the script, I was excited to share my journey to help empower other trans youth. I knew this would be a very important conversation. Trans stories matter and they deserve to be heard." Okay. No, they do not. No, they do not. And that basically means that you're disappointed that you're not able to use Disney's cartoons to be a groomer.
Yeah,
exactly. To groom children into this mindset. And I think the question then that kind of comes up is, does this mean that we're starting to win? And when we say the culture war, I think people of our age tend to think back to like the 80s politics with Jerry Falwell and Pat Roberts.
Sure. Yeah. The
that's not what
religious
I'm talking
right.
Yeah. The religious right, Ralph Reed, all those. That's not what I'm talking about.
No,
I'm talking about basic truth.
Yes.
In culture.
That's where we've gotten.
Yeah. And parents who are not political, some may or may not be religious, are simply saying, whoa. I'm not going to have you planting these ideas in my kid's head.
Yeah.
And this, these may be families who aren't particularly conservative or left-wing or anything. They may be somebody that if their kid comes home from college and says, "Mom, Dad, I've come out the closet, I'm gay," they may be fine with it.
Sure.
But they don't want their 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old looking up to their cartoons and saying, well, maybe I should be a girl.
Right.
That kind of thing. Well, it's clear, and so Disney is now pulling back. When they've added these characters to recent shows, the shows have just bombed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So Disney's finding out they're not bigger than the market.
Yeah. And Disney is kind of following in a long line of other entertainment areas and properties that have shot themselves in the foot with their agenda-driven storylines and things like that. And now their typical response in the past, at least, has been, "Oh, well, you fans are just bigots,
right?
And you need to look at yourselves in the mirror, essentially." But recently, I think there's been a little bit of trepidation in their desire to go that way because they see there's money on the line now.
I wonder how much of this current subtle shift has to do with Bob Iger coming back as CEO, because he was there, he left, now he's back, and I know he's come under a lot of pressure over the last couple of years.
They weren't perfect when he was there the first time, but they really went off the deep end. I mean, listen, Disney, we let you get away with letting Donald Duck walk around pantsless for generations. That's one thing. This is a whole new level.
Absolutely. Now here's a hot take, sort of a random thing. I know we're actually getting on time here.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. I think there's a natural impulse for humans to procreate. We want to we want to create little versions of ourselves to run around. Since the members of the LGBTQ community can't do that naturally, they have to do it socially.
That is absolutely true.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
I'm just saying. That's what I see.
All right. We're seeing the deep state get called out here. The swamp get called out. It could result in a government shutdown. I got fingers crossed on both hands right now. We're going to talk to Phil Kerpen, who's in the belly of the beast right now, to give us the update on whether or not we're going to have a government shutdown or whether we're going to be disappointed and they avoid that. That's not what I'm supposed to say, but it's just how I feel.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
She's got to be somebody's baby. She's so fine.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
After a chilly start, we've got a decent warm-up for you today, up to 49 degrees this afternoon, under mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. But tonight, a cold front swings through, brings a shot of colder air along with it. 28 for the low Friday morning, but only climbing to 35 tomorrow afternoon. And with a stiff northwest wind chills in the teens tomorrow morning and 20s tomorrow afternoon. We'll keep it dry, though, all the way through the weekend. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
Fox News commentary.
Why is Joe Biden selling off pieces of the border wall for pennies on the dollar? I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
This year, American farmers will harvest 2.8 billion bushels of wheat and 15.1 billion bushels of corn. And to this day, American road workers have built 4.2 million miles of roads and counting. We're proud that John Deere machines rolling off the line here in the USA play a part in supporting Americans who work the land and build a better tomorrow. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/manufacturing.
Other than blatant sabotage, why would Joe Biden allow unused materials for the border wall to be auctioned off for pennies on the dollar? Well, President-elect Donald Trump is nicely asking Joe to cut it out. But the excuse the administration has given is Section 2890 of the National Defense Authorization Act, which requires the DoD to develop a plan to use, transfer, or donate all covered materials purchased for border wall construction between fiscal years 2017 and 2022. Well, thanks to Joe halting construction, unused portions of the wall that have been sitting there rusting and rotting had to go somewhere, so unused materials were eligible to be sold off in a fire sale on a surplus website. Some of these materials are now basically scrap junk metal, but that's because they've been sitting there in a heap for nearly 4 years instead of being used to construct the wall as intended. As long as our border has gaps, there should be no unused material. I'm Tommy Lahren.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Metro Shooting Supplies is a gun enthusiast ultimate destination. With over 400 rental guns, you can try before you buy. Serving Metro Singles for over 20 years, we offer the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms. Buy a new gun and get a free $200 range membership located at Fifi and St. Charles Rock Road. Metro Shooting Supplies, where shooting meets expertise. Visit buylearnshoot.com.
I've got a way for you to really dress up your home, and only one guy I'd trust to do it. Michael Proctor, like doctor. Michael will personally examine which drapes, blinds, or shutters will complement your home. He doesn't just measure, he designs, and to make sure it's done right, he will install them. All this saves you money on custom-made drapes, shades, and shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. ProctorDrapery.com.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton.
Here's my problem.
Completely agree with your sentiments.
He talks about we're divided. Well, yeah, we are. And we need to wake up as a country and realize what's going on.
101.9 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Vic Porcelli.
And Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Hey, Vic.
Ken and I are on every Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, right here on News Talk STL. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh, my morning people.
All right, I've kept asking for it all year long because we've been teased with this. Now we're here on the verge of Christmas, and for Christmas, I might get my government shutdown.
Yes, you may.
I want my government shutdown for Christmas. One, because as it's been referenced in some of our social media chat, it would prove to a lot of people we really don't need a whole lot of this government stuff. And that's one of the big fears, I think, that those on the left, and let's be honest, some on the right, they have that went, wait a minute, if we have a government shutdown and we cry about the horrible calamity that is happening, and then people realize my life didn't change.
Yeah.
No, society will not grind to a halt.
No, maybe we don't need all of this because I'm about to file my taxes, and we don't really need all of this.
Nope, not at all.
We're joined now by Phil Kerpen from American Commitment. So, Phil, tomorrow's the deadline to pass another spending bill, or as I understand it, the world ends. Am I close on that?
Well, you know what happens if they go to a government shutdown, then all of the federal workers will not go into the office, which makes it exactly the same as every day in the last 4 years.
Exactly.
Amen, brother.
Okay, so before I get into some of the details on this, it dawned on me this morning, Phil, and this is even some of the Republicans who are saying just put the bill through, fearing a government shutdown and being blamed for it right around Christmas time. Just give us, 2 month, 3 month, whatever. Basically, let Trump and the Republican majorities assume a big mess and then try to go from there. Just get us through there. And then we're starting to see what's in it, all of the garbage, which we'll get to here in a minute. This seems to be remarkably tone deaf, whether it's Speaker Mike Johnson or some others, because on this past election, this is the kind of garbage politics that voters rejected. I mean, this is exactly a big part of why Donald Trump and other Republicans won big in November, is because of this. So I'm really glad to see a revolt among a number of the Republicans. And I'm not a particularly MAGA guy, but reality is reality. This is the kind of thing that he ran against and won against. So to see some Republicans try to say, well, we're just going to do it one more time, that's tone deaf and just stupid.
Well, how many one more times have we had?
Right.
It's, look, when they did back in September, when they funded the government through December 20th, I think we pretty much all knew we were going to get the usual end of the year, giant last minute, you got to vote on this or we're going to ruin Christmas. I mean, it seems like this happens every single year. So I don't think it, I saw Thomas Massey was like writing on X, I predicted it. I'm Massey, Thomas Damas or whatever, Nostradamus, whatever he said. I'm like, guy, it's like predicting the sun's going to rise in the east. Like, congratulations. I think we all kind of saw that this was coming. There were actually some things I liked in this bill, by the way, on PBM reforms and things like that. But you're right that, when you do this process, which we've seen, God knows how many years now, where basically you do almost no work all year. And then, every idea, good, bad, and indifferent, gets thrown into this last minute thing, and you nobody sees it. And you say, oh, you got to vote on it. You're going to lose Christmas. It's an insane way to govern. And it inevitably leads to lots of bad things that get piled in. This isn't the worst one we've seen. We've had 5,000-page ones. This one is 1,500. But the whole idea of you do a continuing resolution into next year when you've got a new president and Republican control in the Senate was not to do this, right? I mean, if you do your funding bill and instead of doing the whole year, you'd only do 3 months, but you include all the other end of the year stuff as if you were doing an omnibus, then what did you really, what was the point? Well, what did you really do that was any better than just doing the regular, full year omnibus exercise? And so I do think this got out of hand. But the other thing that's like crazy to me, I feel like it's like a funhouse mirror situation is there were like 75 votes in the Senate yesterday for a $200 billion Social Security benefit increase for government workers. And it's like, and then you got this big fight over discretionary spending. It's like, guy, like if you want to do something about spending, you can't, raise Social Security spending through the roof one day and then the next day go crazy about how you're going to restore fiscal discipline on the discretionary side, which is a much smaller component of our overall spending problem. And so we've got like a breakdown right now. And I think there were like 24 Senate Republicans that voted for the $200 billion Social Security bill yesterday. So, we've got like a total breakdown in fiscal discipline right now, which is the exact opposite, to your point, of what voters said they wanted in the election. It's kind of unbelievable.
Morning, Phil. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So I was going to talk specifically about that with the voter reaction. It seems different this year as opposed to in years past where the people would kind of laugh at, oh, here comes the pork spending. Here comes the report about all the craziness that the government is doing. Oh, you crazy guys. And we kind of would move on. But this time, it seems as though there was a lot of energy. There was a lot of anger even in response to this. And I think on some level, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Doge, and the transparency they're trying to bring through on social media to all this stuff has had a significant impact. Do you think that's going to last?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that's interesting to me, right, is you got all the Democrats going crazy about, oh my God, Elon Musk is the real president, and it's like Trump is not even in office yet. Joe Biden is supposedly president of the United States. I mean, no one could tell because, obviously, but if Elon Musk can be the de facto president when Joe Biden is in, then it's not his undue influence via, spending for Trump or anything like that. It's just he's simply stating something that resonates with so many people. They get so angry. I mean, that's how representative government's supposed to work, right? I mean, if somebody can shine a spotlight on what you're trying to do, and that makes it no longer politically possible for you to do it, I mean, how could that be a bad thing? How could that be a bad thing? And I think in particular what they did in this bill that was a huge mistake is they raised their own pay. I mean, a lot of people, they might look the other way. Oh, this provision sounds pork, but, maybe that program has people. But when you raise your own pay
and bigly
at the same time, I mean, that is, and by the way, I think, I don't necessarily have a problem with them getting paid more because, they maintain two households and all that. But just from a political and a perception standpoint at a time where everyone wants government to spend less, you can't raise your own pay. You can't.
Good morning, Phil. Stal Ponticus here. You mentioned the current president, who I guess is Mr. Biden, but,
in theory,
Trump held his press conference a couple of days ago. Maybe it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I think, at Mar-a-Lago. And it went on for about an hour or so, and he was taking questions from everyone. And it seems as though, correct me if I'm wrong, like he's running things here, even though he's still president-elect. Your thoughts about what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's, there was a total change in psychology on Election Day. And we went from kind of an anxious, uncertain outlook to a lot of optimism about Trump coming in, a lot of the small business optimism index basically went vertical. Okay. And it's not just small business. I think, and it's global also. I mean, there's a sense kind of everywhere that, okay, things have turned for the better. And I think that's part of why kind of a business as usual product in Congress made people so angry, right? Because we're feeling like, okay, we turned a corner, everything's great. And then they're like, oh, we're just going to do our usual year end. And people are like, no, you're not. What are you talking about? And I think that the center of the whole sort of change in psychology and Trump, his win, he's the pivot point. He's the center of everything now. And so we have this weird situation where, he functionally is driving a lot of foreign policy, a lot of economic expectations, and therefore, economic outcomes. But we still have a month to go before he actually takes office again. So it's a really weird situation, right? Because the guy who's actually the most important and probably, most powerful man in the world outside of the nuclear codes and that kind of thing. But, in a very real sort of, sense of influence, Trump's the most powerful man in the world already. But we have another month where supposedly Joe Biden is the president, which means we basically have another month without an official president. And, we don't know what's going on. And by the way, if we do have a government shutdown, I was thinking about this. That could actually stop a lot of last minute mischief from this administration. Shoveling money
absolutely.
out the door to their friends and other shenanigans. So it's not like there's not upside to the government shutting down. By the way, around the holidays in particular, what were they actually going to accomplish anyway, except nefarious things like that they thought weren't going to get noticed?
By the way, there's 32 days left until January 20th, in case you're not keeping
Yeah,
track.
not that you're counting down or anything like that.
But I find it fascinating.
I apologize for saying a month. Thank you.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Very exact.
I just find it fascinating that CEOs are making their way to Mar-a-Lago to sit down and talk with him. And it's kind of obvious that he's sort of running the show.
Well, I love that includes the CEOs who, spent like hundreds of millions of dollars trying to defeat him. And you got like Mark Zuckerberg, who basically financed Biden's win in 2020, now saying, I love Trump and here's $1 million for the inauguration, and I want to be involved on policy and all this kind of stuff.
All right, we're visiting with Phil Kerpen from American Commitment. Just got a minute or so left, Phil. But where do we go from here? I mean, if you've got Mike Johnson's ear, because that seems to be where where the sticking point's going to be is what's going to happen in the House here. So what do you tell Republicans? What do you advise Republicans to go from here? I personally, this is just me personally, I couldn't care less if there's a government shut. I would actually kind of like to see a government shutdown just because it would prove to so many people that we don't need a lot of the federal government that's out there right now. But if you're advising Johnson or, the Senate, anybody involved in it, what do you advise them to do?
Well, believe it or not, one of his staffers asked me what they should do, which is a bad sign. If they're asking people like me. And I'll tell you what I said. I said, you should pass the bill that Trump says he wants and, get it out of the House into the Senate. And if the Senate Democrats kill it, that will be very clarifying. And, we can see what the American people think at that point. But you can't just assert that his bill couldn't pass. You got to prove it. You got to show it. You got to make a best effort. And until you do that, I don't think you have a next move.
All right. And people follow what you do and American Commitment, where and how?
AmericanCommitment.org is the website. I also work with another group called Unleash Prosperity that has a totally free daily newsletter that you should get. We've got a lot of analysis on all these issues in there. I do that with Steve Moore. That's unleashprosperity.com. And then I'm also a little bit of an X addict myself, and you can follow me on my last name on there, Kerpen, Kerpen.
All right, Phil, have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you again soon, man.
All right. Same to you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Phil.
All right. I, say, all right, here's the alternative, but we're stripping out all the garbage on there.
Yep.
I think that while people want to tune out of politics right now, I do, and I do this for a living, this has really ticked off a lot of people saying, wait a minute, what did we just tell you?
Yes. That's exactly the feeling. Remember when you tell your kid to do something?
Yeah.
And you come back in the room and they're doing, you tell them not to do something.
Right.
And you come in the room and they're doing it. What did I just tell you?
Yeah. You go to your room.
That's how I feel coming into the government and they're trying to pass this book. What did we just tell you?
Yeah. 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk. Yes.
Go to your room.
Change my life to better suit your mood. 'Cause you're so smooth.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
It's just like the ocean under the moon. It's the same as the emotion that I get from you.
Sometimes it's hard to tell what is a good time to sell my home or buy another one. You need expert help? I've got them for you. Jen and Rodney Warner, a wife and husband team, the Warner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway. They have so many approved home buyers, they can guarantee you an offer on your home. In fact, they sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. And here's a phone number for you. Call them, discuss it with them. 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. Those last four letters, sold, that's what will be in front of your home if you're looking to sell it. Jen and Rodney Warner, the Warner Home Selling Team, Berkshire Hathaway. 314-810-SOLD. Jen and Rodney Warner.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Congratulations to the awesome team at Connor Roofing for earning the 2024 National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction. Connor Roofing has now won back-to-back honors because they do outstanding work in all types of roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. We chose Connor Roofing without telling the owners, Rob and Kathy Connor. Their customer reviews are some of the best in the country. Please read them. Visit ConnorRoofing.com and request an estimate. Connor Roofing, you can count on Connor.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL, Haunted Garage, and we'll be discussing everything paranormal, from ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right. It's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
The Allman Report.
Hey, Thursday on the Allman Report is Jimmy Carafano and the Trump effect around the world. Allman Report, News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman. Weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL.
Dan Bongino here. Keep it on News Talk STL because my show starts at 11 a.m. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay.
I'm not sure I could rest.
Nothing says Christmas like Ronnie James Dio.
That's right.
On Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
You know what he probably sang when he said, "Save us all from Satan's power." He probably threw up the horns.
The horns.
He invented those.
I was wondering exactly the same thing. I wonder what he was thinking as he was singing.
You know what's
these
funny
lyrics.
is like the people call them the devil's horns, like the heavy metal thing. You know, the thing with the two fingers up.
That's a late edition.
Well, it's
that's not canonical.
He actually told the story once. He said everybody thinks this is like saluting the devil. He's like, it's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a grandmother or an aunt, or he had a relative who was like very old school, like Italian Catholic to the point of like superstitious.
Right.
Like devoted Catholics would Catholicism has had a series of superstitions that come and go.
Yes.
Other religions have too, but the Catholics were really susceptible to that in the 1800s, not early 1900s. And he had a relative, and this was the symbol that he was taught
to ward off
evil spirits and ward off the devil.
Yeah.
So it's literally like
it's anti-devil,
and then somehow like the focus on the family types in the 80s were like, that means you're supporting
Satan.
You're saluting Satan. No, you're not.
Gosh, and I just thought it was hook 'em horns.
No, that's with the
Texas.
thumb. That's the thumb.
Oh,
that's not the finger. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like you do the. Or no, I'm sorry. No, hook 'em horns is the same hand gesture.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
because it's a bull. You
it's
mess
a bull.
with the bull.
Yeah, it's a bull.
You get
but
the
if you put the thumb out, that's like the Hawaiian hang loose.
Hang loose.
Yeah. Okay, real quick note here is before we turn things over to Vic Porcelli here. Southwest News Service has this bizarre. Somebody did a look at how long every year we spend sitting there just looking for something to watch on TV.
Oh,
not actually watching, just looking for something to watch.
Oh, okay. So if this was the equivalent of back in the day, the early remote days,
right?
This would be your flipping channels.
You're sitting there like
you're sitting there with TV Guide,
with TV Guide. But remember,
channels, click.
I remember when there were 3 channels,
Same.
and then 4 if you were in an area that had PBS.
Yep.
And then cable came, and then you had 15.
Yep.
And now you can access thousands of channels. I mean,
there was that period, and there were cable had like 150.
Yeah, but if you bought the
if you got the higher end packages and things like that. Yeah.
How many hours per year do you think we sit there just scrolling and looking for something to watch? Not watching, looking for something to watch.
Now I kind of feel like it's worse because we have an abundance of choices.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, do I want to watch this, that, and the other thing? I don't know. Easily 15 hours.
Okay. What do you think, Stell?
I don't do it that much, so I honestly have no idea. So I'll go with Gabe's response.
110 hours a
Come
year.
on.
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
4.5 days of the year is going, yeah.
I don't know if this one's got Bruce Willis. Oh, but it's late Bruce Willis.
No, yeah.
Ooh, look, there's a Cubs game.
Yeah, no.
No. Yeah.
Parents want more choices rather than fewer when it comes to their children's education. And now some Missouri parents will have one more option to get their children the best education available. Low-income students and those with disabilities in Missouri's largest communities can now apply for an Empowerment Scholarship Account, or ESA. With an ESA, the money the state would normally pay to your child's public school goes into an account that you control. You can use the funds for private school tuition, online learning programs, a private tutor, or other approved uses. You can tailor your child's education. For too long, Missouri officials have operated on the